extremely viral and having an app start to blow up and chart in?
I think it depends on the type of going viral. Like if you go viral for like doing rage bait shit, you're not getting every VC to reach out to you, right? Like this post got more VCs to reach out to me than the fundraise announcement post, for example, right? Like they want to see like intellectual stimulating things, and this did the job pretty well. So like going viral in like a tech moment is probably the best way to put it. But we did that, and I like had to like lock in. Like I couldn't fuck that up. So yeah, I'm glad we didn't. But we just raised the like 5.5 from some pretty awesome investors, from founders of a lot of big labs and robotics companies, and yeah, now we're here.
Okay, so talk to me about this recent raise. Timeline looks like you posted a viral video. Everyone in San Francisco, Silicon Valley is, trying to get to you, trying to invest. You did a 5.5 million raise with a bunch of angels. You didn't have a lead investor here. Can you walk me through the thought process of who you picked to come on the board here?
Yeah, I mean, we had options to raise it all from like one person, several times actually. Not like a full amount like I was looking for, but just like the 5, for example, I could have raised from one person. I chose not to. The reason why is because one, the fund was like a tier 2 fund, so it wasn't a tier 1 fund that would have just done the whole thing. It would have made my life easier to go with one person, but funds in reality actually don't help out that much. They don't actually provide much value to the company. So going with like individual people combined with some good funds, like for example, Parable VC, that's like Anne Lee Skates. She was former A16Z. She did Whatnot and like a bunch of other really big deals, and she's amazing. She's been super helpful. And then same for like Abe Burns, who's not in this list, but if you scroll down, he's there. Super helpful. And yeah, there's just like K5, obviously, a ton of other funds, but like Ogle and I think going with fractionalized funds and breaking it apart to several funds that are being part of the round, it's much harder to do. Don't get me wrong; it's like harder to do that because you have to do due diligence with hundreds of people, which is why it took me a month to close the whole thing. But yeah, I think it's much more advantageous. Like you'll just get way more out of it than raising from one person.
Well, I think we see it all the time. We talk about it pretty often. Quality of capital is much more important than quantity of capital. Was that kind of the mindset going into this?
Yeah, I think so. I think look, I really don't need to dilute myself that much to go build an insane company. Like we'll very comfortably get to like 50 mil ARR this year, just with the money that we have in. We already have like $35 million in pipeline right now lined up for data contracts, and all I'm doing with the money that's been invested is building better fraud detection systems so that we can handle the scale. That's literally it. So I think comfortably with the money we have, we can get to a very high run rate, and then we can raise just a much higher Series A than as if to us raising like, I don't know, $30 million this round. Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because 50 million annualized returns is like, it's a tall order. What does the road look like to go from where you are today, which I'm not sure if you can disclose any numbers on that, to a 50 million ARR?
Yeah, I mean, we have several million contracts in the app already right now, but the 50 million ARR is not like difficult considering we already have 35 million pipeline. One of these companies, it's a robotics company, it's a $20 million open line contract. Basically, it's just one alone, right? So there's a reason why like Mercor and all these companies get to these like $200 million ARR run rates, like just insane numbers very fast after a very short amount of time, because just the demand for data purchasing is so high. Like almost every lab is in my DMs, and 35 mil is only the numbers I actually have. I'm waiting on several, but like I'll comfortably have like 50 million pipeline in like a couple of weeks. And when that happens, it's really just building the fraud detection systems to put that into the app. So like a good example is one of the robotics labs wants household chores data, right? So they want like a ton of videos of people taking out the trash, doing the laundry, et cetera, et cetera. Their requirement for that is they need 2 hands in the video at all times. So that means, one, you have to build out not hardware, but just a shop to send out gear to our users, like chest straps for the iPhones, head straps, whatever it is. But 2, whenever a user's uploading any video, you need to make sure there's 2 hands in the video at all times. And you got to do it automatically across millions of uploads, all instantaneously, or as close to instant as possible, which means you're building fraud detection systems, ML systems, to detect these requirements in every single task that's put into the app. Yeah, we're just doing that. That's literally our next 2 months of our life. And if we build enough of these fraud detection systems across a wide enough spectrum of tasks, you have what's called a general ML you can apply to anything. And then we can comfortably put any task into the app anytime we want, almost instant, if not like 2 days, 3 days, to put it in there. Yeah, that's all that's left right now, I think.
I forgot about that hardware store you guys released. It feels like so long ago. You guys are moving fast. Talk to me a little bit about the thought process behind, having users be able to purchase actual hardware to continue earning and upgrade their earning potential.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had my bag with me. You have like a 3D print of one of the cams. It's basically wrist cameras. There's like a couple tiers, but you want to tier it for sure. So you want like dexterity cameras for movement. I might have lost you because Dom's shit is frozen.
No, he's good.
And then yeah, you want like wrist dexterity cameras. We have like head straps, obviously. The like actual strap that you put in your body is only like a couple of bucks anyway, so that's like very cheap to send out to our users. Yeah, you want to tier the approach, kind of like how you're upgrading your car if you're driving on an Uber, and you're upgrading your quote unquote equipment. It's the same thing here. Like you want to invest into yourself as a data collector. Like your career as a data collector, you want to invest into it. So our good job is like provide the best tooling that we know is in high demand for the tasks that we're collecting data for, and then give that out to our users. That's it.
Got you. Got you. I think you also mentioned in this post or a previous one, someone's making about $7,200 a month. What does earning look like? Earning potential, and maybe how do you see this evolving into something like an Uber or entirely new job vertical?
Yeah, I mean, it comfortably will in the next couple of years. The only thing we have to do is personalization. So we want to make sure we find out exactly what you're good at uploading, and recommend you hundreds of tasks in that niche, so that when you're going about your everyday life, ideally, we're recommending you a task every hour of the day that is according to the schedule that you're going about every single day, right? So, kind of creepy, I guess, but yeah, we want to like consensually have a user give like the updates on what they're doing with their life every day, so that we can very easily plug tasks into their daily life, and notify them and ping them and update them, saying like, hey, if you want to make some money here, like you can just take out your phone, record what you're doing right now. So that's the way you increase the earnings for the average user. It's just personalization plus hundreds of tasks, sorry, thousands of tasks rolled out into the app every single day. Yeah.
Cool. You've had some pretty big announcements. It seems like they just keep coming. Talk about some of these partnerships. You partnered with WAP recently. They're an extremely viral company, I believe, backed by Tether. Maybe walk us through the relationship here, how this came about.
Yeah, one of my very close friends, Nicholas Montemetti, like recently, yeah, he's head of consumer at WAP, so he connected me, and then we didn't talk for a while. And then Cameron from WAP reached out, and Steve and I met in person, and yeah, they reached out, and they pitched me the payments platform. They already worked with like Micro One and a few others, although Micro One doesn't have an actual like app like we do, but yeah, I think they're using them for the back end stuff. But yeah, WAP is very cool. Um, WAP on my side at least is less of a tech bet. It's more of a founder bet. The founders are just like very, very responsive, like understand consumer very well, are willing to work with you on like every level. It's like just not the same level of personalization I would get when I would be working with Stripe, for example. I'd rather work with WAP. So we're gonna explore the payments relationship here, and we're gonna roll it out into that very soon. But it'll make it so that globally have access to bank withdrawals, any currency that you want withdrawals in, including crypto, and then also having access to like local centralized banks, like whatever it is, up to you, in like the most rural of areas and regions. So WAP is great. They're also helping us onboard like all 15 million or whatever of their users onto CLUD as
Mhm.
well. So we'll have a very high user uptick anytime we want from them. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of user uptick, I think early days people were worried that okay, demand's here, but maybe supply's not there. You've kind of been able to fill both sides of it. Let's talk a bit about the demand side. You guys were charting in a lot of different countries on the App Store in the finance category. Obviously, WAP's going to come in and put all their users onto CLED. Talk to me about how growth is looking. I think the website's gotten really good traction as well. Yeah, so just maybe updates on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're 300K, and I literally told my marketing team to stop marketing because I can't handle more. Eli has a heart attack every day he opens our Supabase and checks the user sign up count, and then he has another heart attack when he checks the upload count. So yeah, until I build out all this fraud detection stuff, it is just the dumbest idea possible to market this.
Mm.
I literally don't even want to post about it sometimes, because if we get to 1 million users, we'll just burn so much cash from like just like bad uploads sometimes on tasks that we would rather focus on once the fraud detection is fully up and running for the newer tasks. So yeah, I'm not worried about user growth. We like Luke and Ed invest in the company. We have like tons of people that just like are the best marketers in the game. So they've already connected me to all those people. And like, I don't know if you've seen it, but we've been posting on like every big meme page on Instagram,
Yeah.
Twitter in the last like quite literally 24 hours. So yeah, we can comfortably hit 1 million users anytime we want. The second we launch Android, we'll hit 10 million users like day one. It's like everyone's begging for Android, because it's in a lot of these like rural areas, like they only have Androids. Like I'm pretty sure we have every Malaysian iPhone with the CLED app right now on it,
Mhm.
and there's probably only 50,000 of those iPhones. So yeah, comfortably user count is not hard to get up there. Yeah.
Is Android going to be like a catalyst for you guys once everything's in place? Are you waiting to just drop that and do a big
Yeah.
rollout?
Yeah. I mean, Google messaged me and a couple others, so I'll most likely work with Google on the rollout for Android. So, but that's only when the time is right. Like I really don't want to hit a crazy high user number.
Mhm.
I'd rather focus on just like finishing the fraud, and then when it's perfect, and I also have the pipeline in from the labs fully built into the app, then when I say pipeline, I mean a large pipeline, like 100 million contracts into the app. Then I will comfortably launch Android, where I know I'm not going to be just like burning cash, basically. Yeah.
How are those conversations going with data labs and people that need this demand on the
I
data
mean,
side?
the conversation pretty consistent. Like the way these like deals typically work is they send over a spec sheet, so they'll send over a document of what they need. Also send over a requirements document on like the very niche stuff, like for example, two hands in the video type of stuff. And yeah, they send over everything, and then all our job is to just engineer it and put it into the app in the best user form factor possible, which we've done a very, very good job of so far. You'll see that in the version 3 update, but there's like very complicated tasks that we've dumbed down as much as possible for our users, and they have like much higher pay rate compared to anything else.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat too where, or maybe this stat was from a while ago, but I think it was like you guys were pulling in more data than a bunch of the big social platforms combined. And Josh has a question on this. But how do major social platforms view CLED and what you guys are doing? And then how are you comparing to them in terms of like just data intake?
Yeah, yeah, I think data intake um is gonna like be massively uptick for a while. Uh Sorry, I completely just didn't listen to a single word you said. I like thought of some work thing and I don't know what happened to my brain.
Let's run it back.
Repeat the question. Yeah,
Yeah,
like wasn't even thinking. My bad.
chilling, chilling. No, no. So the question was in regards to you have all these social platforms. I think I remember you tweeting a while
Oh,
ago.
okay. Sorry, I remember the question now. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, we have a higher we have more like our average users uploading more data than every single social media platform combined. Basically, it's not even close. So like they're uploading currently like 15 to 30 images a day, average by the way, across our 300,000 people. Our top users are uploading like literally 15,000 documents a day or images a day or videos a day, right? So the content we're getting comparatively to any of these social media platforms is just like literally 20 to 100x on average per platform. Let alone if you combine all of them, it's much higher, like 3x higher than every platform combined on average per user. Yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, we're paying people to upload their data, so it's not like it's imagine Instagram pays you every time you posted, no matter what your like influencer status was. Yeah, we get more than anyone else.
do you have any high level stats you can riff off for us that you've seen in the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting close to like 5 million uploads a day now from our users. That'll be at 7 million very soon, I think, and it'll only go up. When we hit a million users, it'll be like 30, 40 million uploads a day, I think, because of network effects. Yeah, we also get like 15 to 30, like I said, uploads per day per user, and that's across the average. Our top 10% is uploading like 15,000 documents or images or videos a day. Yeah, I think I think this is also translating the special tasks a lot. Like the general uploads are taking up probably half, while the special tasks are also taking up half. So we're getting a lot of our uploads coming from these like very high level tasks. In fact, the version 3 update is pretty much it's not getting rid of the general uploads, but it's making it like less focus of the app. Like we want you to specifically be doing things that we want you to do. Yeah, that is like version 3's big thing.
And from start to now, how long did it take you guys to get to kind of this level in terms of users and uploads?
We only launched the mobile app without the beta list. When was it? Like December 12th or December 15th? I don't know. It was when version 2 came out, right? So like very short amount of time. Like we did most of this in like 6 weeks. Yeah, within 6 weeks we got all the users, like all the signups, all the virality, all the uploads. 8 months prior to that, we were on a beta list this whole time, and we were just making the system pretty perfect, which it is now. So yeah, we're happy with it.
Another question. Do you feel like this? You're a very, I feel, viral figure, very popular figure in crypto. Like, do you get the sense that these are like kind of non-crypto users, or are they mostly from within our space?
Initial like the ones who really propelled it were definitely a mix. Yeah, crypto definitely helped out. I think we had like a couple of users that basically stuck around and sent out the app to just like thousands of their friends and signed up literally like entire countries by themselves because they were invested into the coin, for example. So yeah, there's a pretty big benefit early on from our initial users that helped out here. I think now though it's leaning more towards just like anyone with an iPhone. Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, there's way less people that are using any consumer app versus the people that exist in crypto. Yeah.
And I don't want to be insensitive here, but Crypto Jones has a question. I think he's kind of joking, but it begs a good question. Like, are there bidders that are bidding high amounts of money for like pictures in Iran or like some sort of
Yeah.
intel that would be valuable?
Yes, I don't sell to them though. You got to understand that like we're in a pretty unique position here where like a lot of government organizations have reached out to me, for example. The last thing I want to do is turn this into a mass surveillance app. No matter how many people are begging me to sell to Palantir, it's I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but if it ever did happen, which in its current state it won't, let's just say I would need to have very, very high oversight on it to the point where like it would be just a hassle to the company working with me for it. So I really just want to be very clear. Like I will only sell data to labs in a very unintrusive manner to the point where like I want our users to feel comfortable giving me their data. It's almost like the good versus light argument where like Anthropic is the light, OpenAI is the dark right now, at least publicly. I would much rather be the light. Yeah, Rambo, that's not fucking happening.
Instantly billions.
Yeah, that's like fucking Maya keeps telling me the same thing, by the way. But no, I'm not selling people out. Like my heart doesn't have it in me, and all the money in the world is not going to like this is just not going to make the world a better place. We're already heading into fucked territory. The fact that CLED even exists is a showcase of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, like we can be a pretty morally righteous company here that's also making a lot in ARR every single year comfortably.
Could you give us a little insight into like what your investor letter looked like? What are you telling investors that have bought into Cled? What would you tell token holders today?
Yeah, as in like the pitch that we had sent out to investors during our fundraiser, or what?
I guess just like quarterly recap. What's going on? What are we looking forward to?
I actually just posted our memo publicly. You're on it right now. This was the memo that raised me $5.5 million.
You want to walk me through it?
I mean, yeah, it's super simple. It's actually like I don't want to like toot my own horn. This is like a masterclass in how you do these types of fundraisers. If you want to, like, you always do memos. Always have like a ton of video content, but yeah, the memo is very simple. It's just our thesis, our general thesis on data contribution, and why we think it's like very big. Again, it's simple. It's like, look, license data is becoming the norm right now, and all the data on the internet is completely exhausted. So there needs to be a fresh source of human data that's contributing this stuff. To the consumer network we've built out, just a recap on the active users, uploads we're getting every day, the impressions we've done in a very short amount of time, our enterprise contracts, so the contracts we have with like Rigo, for example, for the drone footage and like all the mainstream IPs that we have access to that we can sublicense, military footage, like egocentric data, etc. Product, which is just like special tasks and the filtration layer that's like taking out the bad data, the fraud detection systems, and then the customers that we've acquired and the ones that we have due to our investors being such high level names in the AI space, and then our team, and then what's next for 2026, which is just our version 3 update right now that's going to roll out all these massive tasks. So that's pretty much the memo, but this is what raised us this large amount of money. The investors are very, very well aware of the coin. It's actually part of my pitch. A lot of the time, it's just like telling the story of how we got here. I think one of the things a lot of people are asking is like, were they concerned about it or anything like that? I don't think that's the case. They're definitely not concerned about it. It's kind of like do whatever it takes to get to this point, and they see a great benefit in the fact that we have like this army of people that are like helping us out, betting on us, and to add to that, also just like believing in us every single day. So we all see the benefit in that. I guess where it ties into just like the token itself is like when we're talking about Street, which is like something we're working on very, very soon right now, and something we're just ironing out the final details of. The investors do really care about making sure that we're like very legally compliant here. So like last step here is like, this is now a very, very serious company. Like we have like way too many like high level people invested into this to the point where like I have to be very, very serious on timeline. Like I can't be messing around when it comes to securities laws or anything. And reality is like Street is not equity in the company. And we need to make that very clear publicly to manage expectations. And these comms guidelines are very, very important when it comes to rolling this stuff out. Yeah.
Got you. Do you have any other note on Street or the token?
Yeah, it's mainly just the comm guideline for Street, and then we're also working on Flywheel, so that like we want to make it so that it's not just Street that's propping up value for the token. It's not just these fundraisers that help out value for the token. Again, not financial advice, no expectation of profit, obviously, but yeah, we're working on like Flywheel mechanisms and things that are going to also help out there. So it's all a product of the fact that we just have so much demand coming in from the labs now to the point where like I can pretty much comfortably give back to holders in like a flywheel sense as well. Yeah.
Can you tell me how you're thinking about that? Because we have seen successful flywheels in the past. I think Axie Infinity is a great example.
Yeah.
It's like you had to spend the currency to upgrade your thing and earn more money through doing it. Like how are you?
It always just comes down to buybacks. Like obviously discretionary buybacks. So again, no expectation of profit. Let me make that very clear. But discretionary buybacks, and I think showing is better than telling. So we'll have to wait for that. But yeah.
Back to this raise you guys did. Do you have a number? Your previous raise, I think, was 100 million. Do you have a number where you came in for this recent raise? And then maybe what
I'm not disclosing it publicly, but let's just say significantly higher than the 100 million. Yeah, significantly higher. And my target for our A is going to be like 750 mil. So we'll be close to unicorn, I think, by this year. I just need to really dial in on making sure I'm selling this data to the right people.
Let's give the hypothetical here. You guys want to raise a Series A at 750 million. You raise significantly higher than your last round at 100 million. What steps do you have to take to get to 750 mil? What are these investors?
You need to be at like 25 mil ARR to raise at the 750 mil. And that's pretty much the only requirement. Everything else we've already done.
Show me the money.
Yeah, it's users already wrapped up. Like our brand is really, really nice. We need to make sure that we're compliant. Obviously, that's very important in getting to that Series A milestone, but we already are compliant. Like we have the best law firm in the world representing us, GDPR compliant, and HIPAA compliant, anonymize the data sets that we have access to. Like all of that's already clean. Yeah, really just cash. Look, you hit 25 mil ARR with consistent contracts coming in like a 4-month time span. You're very easily getting to a 750 mil valuation on the Series A, and I can probably comfortably raise like $30 million, something like that. Yeah.
Got you. And you're shooting for end of year. I know you can't put timelines on it, but that's what it sounds like.
I'm shooting for mid-year, actually. I think I actually probably go into the Series A in like 6 months. Yeah.
When you think about you know, the changes that's happened in the company, what's really significantly changed from the early days to now, where you're a much more fleshed out product, you have a user base, you know, it's kind of played out like the vision you interpreted. What's the biggest change and biggest factor you're dealing with today as opposed to back then?
Yeah, I don't know where to begin from back then. Like, dude,
Crazy.
I was looking through old tweets, man. That was insane. I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
You were tweaking, bro. Patel mode.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, it got us here, but like, fuck, man. Like, that was we really pushed the edge of what we should have been doing. Like, fuck, man. Yeah,
You kind of have to, right?
you kind of have to. Yeah, I can't like it's what got us here. Like, we would not be here without like me doing retarded shit all day long. So yeah, I have like 2 modes. Like, I definitely can turn on the retard mode anytime I want, but I really like the like very calm, composed, like serious founder Avi Patel. And when time comes, I can become a little retarded, but until then, like, the company is like very, very serious now, and I like can't fuck up. Like, I cannot fuck up. It's like, yes, I think taking big risks is still very important when it comes to business decisions, but PR decisions, let's just say rage baiting as a form of marketing never works out. And I don't think you can name one example that at least I privately know that companies aren't doing well, but maybe publicly people think that they are. But there's not a single rage baity style company, like founders, that are doing well right now. Like, I truly don't think that exists. So personally speaking, being very serious, elegant, graceful, and like human is like the way to build these companies at this stage. Yeah.
I know you got to bounce soon, so we're going to respect your time. If you could give us some high level takes, maybe for a clip here, but high level, what are some of the achievements you guys have really knocked off in the last couple of months, and what are you guys most excited for?
Yeah, we had no app. We have 300,000 people after 0 marketing efforts and only a 6-week time span. On the app, we've hit #1 finance category in several countries, in top 100 and over 50 countries. We've done over, I think, 200 million impressions now. We raised over $9 million in total financing, and just raised a seed round for 5.5 mil from the Waymo founder, DoorDash robotics team, a bunch of other insane investors that we're very proud of. Yeah, we're at like 35 mil. In pipeline right now from lab data and labs that want to purchase this data. Our fraud detection is getting better and better every single day, to the point where we can put these tasks in the app pretty comfortably. So yeah, I'm hyped. Our next couple of months are going to be like really just business focused, and I'm going to go build a generational company. That's all I got to do. Yeah.
Sheesh. Can you close us off with a little bit of roadmap? What's coming next? You said the next few months are
it's put all 35 mil of pipeline into the app, get jobs put up into the app so that you're getting hourly pay for doing labeling jobs as well, get integrations flushed out so that we're selling data to hedge funds, for example, and you can link your like Netflix and Spotify, all the things that we mentioned in our Glad Life update stuff, and then also get out the Glad shop so that we're able to ship out hardware to users for like very, very cool niche tasks, and you can
who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal, and when they got back there was only...
But why?
22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ain explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares, partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
Not sure what that was, but it is what it is.
Oopsies. Oh, right during the last moments of the video. Actually, I think that was me because I accidentally clicked on something else and it was shared from my computer. So my bad.
Engineers,
right at the hype.
We're hiring. No. It's all good though. Just direct your attention to the top right corner, presented by Meteora. Man,
yes.
Happy Friday, dude. Feels like it's been a long week here at MCG, that's for sure. So
it's been a long week, but man, we got some green candles today, Dom. Do you want to talk about the green candles that we have?
I would love to, man. It makes me so giddy just to see this going on. So let's breaking towards the top of the range. What's been nice about this, I will say, is we've been playing ping pong with it pretty good. Right around here, I think, is when Chill went short, calling the top. And I was calling for a test back in this range to continue going long. So played out pretty nicely so far. Of course, my outlook is much longer term. Like, this is not just a scalp. For me, I would like to see this swing, much higher. Ideally, just completely leg up into the next all-time highs. But I digress. Yeah, so here's what's going on, man. Market's green, up 1.7% on Bitcoin. We started today up about 4%, almost hitting, maybe even touching 74,000, depending on the exchange you're looking at. Ethereum up as well. Solana up the most out of the big three, I guess you could say, here at 3.2. Hype is down on the day, 2.5 again, but it's been a leading asset so far these last couple weeks. So, I mean, it only makes sense. Again, I'm kind of expecting lower 30s for hype before continuing up, of course, under the assumption that because they got a lot of volume and volatility from oil and gold, it's just been running really, really hot. I think as revenue kind of goes down for a week or so, we'll get price to follow that. But again, I do think it's a really, really nice long out of those lower 30s range if you can get it for hype. Tau, one we've talked about, one that I've been bullish on this last 2 week or two, is up nicely, about 7.5% on the day. Again, that's going to be a beta kind of to AI coming on chain. So we're liking Tau here at 233, again, down significantly from peak, but held up pretty nicely, I would say, when you stack it up against a lot of other altcoins. So Tau looking good. Grass kind of in the same boat, continuing to push up. We've just had a solid 2-3 weeks of green candles, but not going to get too much into that today. But it is nice to see Bitcoin giving us green candles for the day. Again, I still expect us to make new highs. Hopefully we can close and at least sit above this range for a while. We haven't had a meaningful time above this range yet. So that's crypto. On the contrast, we see equities.
Can I hit up a little Bitcoin note? I want to get in here. So first thing I'll share, and the reason I'm putting the GOAT Jones Rida on blast here is because Jones was a great caller of the top in back in October when he was on. But he was looking for that 62K liquidation cascade to be bought, which it was. And that is kind of like the last leg that you see right at the bottom there to the right. What did that get down to? Not that he was on February 20th. So it was after that.
Okay. February 20th would have been right here. Okay. So this got down to, if you're talking about this little secondary test here, 62.6.
Perfect.
It was the recorded low here.
So step one, that was bought. He said any sudden moves to 75K, he was leading a bit bearish on because he thought that would be sold into. It said bottoms take time to form here. So we're kind of getting through some of these areas. Now, one thing I'll mention from his stream in October was this 50-day moving average was a really great kind of indicator of, when this level cracked. He was flipping bearish again. That was in October. Now, if I go to the chart now, I have the 50-day up here, and you can see that we do have a fairly large wick into this area, and it is sold off through here. So do keep an eye open, because this was an area of resistance back here that ended up breaking, and then it kind of rejected a few times here and then went lower. So we are in that 50-day area. Now I keep this on a chart locked on the daily timeline, even when I'm looking at lower time frames. So I keep it there. So we'll see if we can kind of clear this area and hold a retest there. We might be finding that kind of, dare I say, bottom. But the other thing I want to redirect everyone to, and I'll update my oil trade. I'm still long my 150. Yes. Still up about 2x on those. We are kind of grinding through here kind of nicely at 96. We have had repeated announcements, strategic reserves released, like we're going to pump more oil, all this kind of stuff, but not reaction from price. And remember, guys, these are molecules that need to move around the world, as well as they're consumable. So it's not like gold. You stack it in a vault and you kind of hold on to it. Oil, once you burn it, it's gone. And so with that, I have some updates. And I said, guys, the most important thing is not the price, not the charts. It's this. It's the oil infrastructure. And so I feel like I'm lagging a bit, so apologies.
Definitely are here. Maybe if you link that tweet, I can try to pull it up for you.
Yeah, here. Maybe this one's a better one.
But keep diving into the thought.
Yeah, I mean, Teal. I just closed the trading view for some reason, lag in my computer. But this is these terminals, these oil tankers. 2 of them got struck last night, and I said, it doesn't matter about the straight. It doesn't matter about the chart. The only thing that matters is this physical infrastructure getting hit. And this is what is kind of happening. So anyways, long story short, they can announce whatever they want to announce. They can try and suppress the price with words. But at the end of the day, oil is a consumable commodity. And it, 96 over the weekend, it could continue grinding higher.
Yeah,
let's still an oil bull.
Oh my, why would he not be?
I mean, my thesis hasn't changed until you see serious diplomatic changes and all resumption of all traffic through. I think you're going to get tightness.
Yeah, I would actually agree with Josh too. I don't think oil is something, at least in this situation, you trade on a binary scale like like a chart. I mean, you can look at chart and look for rejection zones, but I just think that's there to mislead you. Genuinely, I think it's more of you just have to take in the economical factors, and that's gonna be your best bet. But let's do something real quick. Let's look at oil, because we had end of March is what you're doing. I mean, we still have plenty of time in March, but have you thought about switching some of those positions to an end of April trade?
No, because I think that 150 contract's gonna go higher, and I don't know if the April contracts are even live yet. But yeah,
I'm sure there are. Let's see. I'll copy this and just switch it out to April real quick. We'll crude end of April.
Yeah. I mean, look, another strategy, we kind of alluded to this yesterday, is like the $100 contract no is 16 cents. So you could almost like buy the $100 no and the 150 yes, and kind of like, as long as it's not between those areas, you're either pricing in things are going to get really bad or things are going to get really good. And maybe there's a pair trade there, but yeah. So what's the April one? There's only June, right?
So this is so weird. Yeah, there's March right here, end of March, and then there's end of June.
Click on the June numbers real quick.
The June numbers are much different. It's suggesting over time we will get there. The discrepancy here is apparently people don't believe March will be the time we get to this. I guess the one.
I don't like this because anything, too far out. It's too far out for this type of trade. This is an insurance trade. This is like a small, few $100 works into a few $1,000, a few $1,000 works into 30, 40 grand. Like it's kind of like a hedge. It's
just a small little, take a few hundred to a few thousand,
it's a hedge.
50, no, 50 to a million.
It's a hedge. It's like an option, right? It's an option trade.
I've seen where like they said that the US is incentivized to keep oil prices higher because we make more money. I don't know if you guys got into that.
I don't know. I haven't seen that. I've actually heard the opposite.
They said that we're the biggest producer of oil, so the higher oil is, the more money that we make, and then if we're taking over oil from places like Venezuela, he's talking about taking over the Strait of Hormuz, or even get access to that oil in there. That only means more for us apparently. But I'm no macro guy.
Now, I don't know. I mean, we do have control over Venezuela, and around those areas, Guyana, etc., has the light sweet crude, right?
It also means like more for Russia, and they're trying to stop Russia. So I don't think that's necessarily an accurate take. I think the cost to the economy is a lot more than it would be whatever you make in oil revenue.
Sure. But yeah, charts are looking good. We have 5 more minutes. Do we want to cover anything? I guess.
Let's like Nook.
I'll let Chill take the stage then.
Yeah, let's get into some stuff. What did we cover here so far? I'm starting up here a little bit late.
Oh, wait. We just
cover
covered macro.
Okay.
Let me real quick though. Let's go to Trump. You guys saw Trump, obviously. It's top. It's
yes.
In the news right now.
Generational short opportunity loading.
What's going on here? Here, I'll even jump over here to the Crypto Dogs tweet. Not surprised Trump is reversing suddenly. Been meaning to share my thoughts. I've been doubting Trump was done with this token. Wouldn't be surprised to see legislation uniquely benefiting Solana/meme coins. Do we think this pump we're seeing? And you can see this is a Binance chart with Trump is insider fueled. Do we think this is Baron Trump bidding up the chart here in favor of some crypto legislation that'll favor meme coins, or any takes on this?
I don't think so. What I think there is on Trump coin, there's a lot of shorts that have built up in this market. Excuse me. In this market, there's been a lot of free shorts. Free shorts on stuff like XPL. Free shorts on stuff like ADA. And as these shorts continue to build up, and I'll pivot to my Trump coin here that I have, but I'll even like this TA is irrelevant.
So you're just thinking a little short squeeze action.
Just a little short squeeze.
Not a falling wedge there at all.
You could draw one. No. You could draw one out. No. I don't know. I see the vision here.
I can find one. I can find one if I really try.
Look, it's wedging down like this. I'm sure you could slip in a big old
look, boys. You know what I'm saying? Bump that candle up there. But
oh my goodness, this is a breakout of the wedge.
Bam.
This could be generational. You were saying short. This could be generational Trump coin bottom, dude. This could look now. Stay with me here. This could be insiders buying Trump on some crazy legislation that's going to allow meme coins to be tax-free and Trump to be the state currency of the United States. Could this be bottom? This is Dom's prediction. Joking, of course.
Gosh. Nah. In all seriousness, I really don't think this pump is over. I think there was some sort of announcement around a dinner or something like that. But this has been a free short on every single pump it's had pretty much since April 2025. So if you're on the short side, which many people have been, you're offside when price starts to reverse, massive short squeeze. Maybe we get up to some areas, but this chart is so horrendous. Like there's really nothing to chart up. I mean, the best I can do is maybe like on the weekly. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that. But I mean, there's nothing to chart. It's literally just a chart. It's just a price action that has been down ever since it launched. So yeah, I think
to oblivion.
Yeah, I think they're just mark up some levels higher, that it's respected already, and but it's like every area above price is is freaking
I see a barbell trade here. I see Solana or Bitcoin, pick your choice, to infinity and beyond, short Trump to Bolivian, Oblivion and beyond, not Bolivian. So you have that's the pair trade. I think you got Bitcoin Trump pair trade.
Yeah, but we'll see how that plays out. I don't know if you guys saw ZEC though, Zcash. That one's been like, that one looks like it looks like it wants to break out. It looks like it wants more. In fact, I wonder if there's some. I think XMR might be.
So can you guys confirm this on Zcash for me? This is a message I got the other day. Seeing they received in regards to Zcash, I've seen they received funding from A16Z, Coinbase Ventures, and some other VCs 2 days ago. Vitalik also made a recent bull post about how ZK Snarks was like someone traveling back 10 years in time and creating a cure for the disease that people just couldn't understand at the time. Did Zcash get some sort of funding from a bunch of notable VCs like AI16Z and or Base Ventures, Coinbase Ventures, etc.? Do we know?
I've heard Paradigm is in there as well. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember, there's like a huge like Zcash situation where basically like there's like a separation of the team, and apparently that caused this massive dip. That was a big driver of this dip that we saw. And what a lot of people didn't realize was, nothing kind of changed. The team was still going to push forward the token and everything, and they were still going to continue building, but it was just going to be under a somewhat different structure. I didn't really read into this a lot, but from what I understand from, a lot of like the Zcash bulls that I know, it hasn't really affected the fundamentals, as far as the fundamentals that push price from all the way down here at $50 all the way to all-time high at $750. Those fundamentals are still in play. So essentially, it's just a dip to a key level, the 0.786, and now it's about to break out of a multi-month downtrend, and it's about to actually, it could even be potentially printing a new high here, a new local high, pretty soon for the first time since December 2025. So yeah, if you ask me, like, Zcash is probably looking at doing something like this. If you
have a long open on this yet?
Not yet. I'm about to.
Well, it sort of matters who on the team fractionalized, right? Like where. Yes. I also heard, wasn't there another project that Zcash team went and started recently?
I don't believe so, or at least not the team that's continued to work on it. I know they're solid. But yeah, that's why I haven't really talked about it a lot, because I haven't been able to do as much research as I'd like, but I am still watching it, and I'll prioritize doing that research now that I know that the chart is on the verge of breaking out. It's held the lows here at 184 pretty well, and that was a key level to hold above, and it looks like it's about to outperform Bitcoin.
Awesome.
All right, sweet. Well, it's that time, boys. Easy A. Man, saw some interesting things the other day. Josh linked a tweet today in the chat that I hadn't seen before, and I don't know how I hadn't, because it's their main pinned tweet. But really excited to get into this conversation, and we got both Phil and Dom popping up, so we can say what's up right now. Hey, what's up, boys?
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to be on the show.
Freedom's on here now.
Yeah, there we go. I love the green screen background there. Easy A stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, but boys, let's get right into it. We got you up today. We're excited to learn about Easy A. The best place to start is maybe just quick introductions on yourself, so we can get to know who's on the other end of the call here. Maybe I'll let Dom lead.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, great to be on the show with everyone. Great to be here with all of you. A bit of background on myself. Phil and I are brothers, as you can probably see. Maybe I'm a bit more gray, a little bit older, but only 2 years actually. But yeah, no, we grew up in the UK originally, in London, and after that, we actually went out to the States. So Phil did his undergrad at Cambridge University in the UK. I did mine at UPenn Wharton out in Philly. And then Phil was a lawyer working at Sullivan and Cromwell. I worked at Blackstone in New York. And then, we did the corporate stuff for a while, but ultimately went into crypto full time when we founded EZA, really with the goal of educating people on crypto, hosting amazing hackathons all over the world with some of the best blockchains. And now we're very excited to launch EZA Kickstart, which is a platform for anyone to actually launch their ideas. Up till now, only the people who have come to our hackathons have actually been able to launch projects, win money, get that funding. And, in the past, through all of the work that we've done, we've had projects that are now valued at over $11 billion. Wow. So they've been backed by the world's best VCs like Y Combinator, Founders Fund, Sequoia, etc. Some of the biggest AI companies have come out of EZA hackathons, like Cognition AI, which many of you might know. They built Devin, the world's first autonomous software engineer. And so for us, EZA Kickstart is a huge next step in the evolution of EZA in order to get people actually bought into the EZA story, even if they may not be coming to one of our in-person events. So excited to share more about it. Excited to see many of you as well at Consensus Miami, where we're hosting a huge hackathon together with Consensus and CoinDesk, and we'll be giving away free tickets to that as well. So happy to share more about that and much more.
Well, I would love to add that. We would love to jump in and highlight a bunch of the projects coming through, give them a quick spotlight. They can pop in. So maybe we cook something up for Consensus. We're not far from Miami. So
yeah, it's gonna be epic. Yeah.
So tell me this, because I'm really curious. It feels like generally crypto, like the crypto world, has been kind of pessimistic about crypto recently. But it even seems like we're seeing growth in RWA, and a lot of Web 2 and traditional finance is actually coming here. So it seems like we have this fragmentation of on-chain feeling, kind of doomeristic on crypto, but traditional finance never being more excited. What was that switch that led you guys to be like, okay, we got to go all in on crypto here?
Well, great question. We actually first got started. Well, I first got started in crypto in 2013 through Bitcoin mining. So I stumbled across the Bitcoin white paper, and I just thought this is absolutely crazy. And I went back home, locked myself in the basement, just started learning everything I could about the stuff. So I started hooking up like power supply units, CPUs, GPUs, and then there was all these FPGAs, ASICs, all this stuff. That was my original start. Started mining Bitcoin.
Did your brother think you're crazy?
What was that? Sorry?
Did your brother think you're crazy building a data center in your room?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. He did. He was kind of like, what's going on here? And then I was like, nah, Dom, look, it's Bitcoin. This is the future. Yeah. And then obviously, as Dom mentioned, then I won a scholarship out of Cambridge. Dom was at Wharton, and then went into TradFi and then came back into crypto. And I think big genesis behind all of this was like a lot of our friends from back then had built this amazing tech, right? Like we always talk in crypto about the tech, but like this was maybe like just over a couple of years now, amazing tech, and it reached this point where the tech was all here, but there was nobody building on it. Like there were no applications, there was nobody building anything that like a real end user would use. And that's really why we decided to do what we do. And you've got up on your screen, the hackathons that we run. We've got the EZA app. We were early partners. One of our early partners as well was Solana. And so obviously, we helped bring a lot of builders, got some amazing builders in the Solana ecosystem. Obviously, Ripple as well. You'll see Stellar, pretty much you name it. And it's just like, it's all about bringing real products to crypto that end users will actually use so that we can actually, accelerate this a lot faster and get everybody onto crypto rails.
So quick question. How long have you guys been working on Solana and knowing that you wanted to use this chain?
We actually first started with Solana in 2022. So it's been a couple of years now.
You know what? I feel like I didn't see any meaningful utility materialize on Solana until about 2 years ago. So it's interesting to hear you guys had that vision. How long have you guys seen that this vision for Solana being a hub for utility and I guess where finance is headed?
I think it's come through a couple of different waves. I remember 2022, that was also, we were all at Breakpoint, and then we were seeing like the very first version of the Solana phone. I remember it vividly. It was literally right next to the FTX booth. And I was like, whoa. Obviously, back then FTX was like this massive thing. And then literally a couple of days later, boom, it goes down. I was just like, Dom and I were like, whoa, what just happened? And I think everybody at Breakpoint was just like, whoa. But anyway, like, I think like back then we had cool things. Like we had, there was obviously like Serum, all the stuff going on around there. I think it comes in peaks and troughs. It's like, there was the peak, and then there was this massive trough, and everybody was like, Solana's dead, token hitting like, around like $7 or something at an all-time low. And then, we were just meeting up with like other super teams as well within the ecosystem, and everybody was building. I think that's what then led to, like you said, Dom, basically like, 2 years ago, this massive renaissance that really happened. And I think it all comes down to the builders, like all the builders and the hard work that we were all putting in, together with Solana Foundation, the super teams, everybody else, to make sure that the builders still stayed and the builders continued to build. And I think what we saw was like the great guys still stayed in the ecosystem. They continued building. Nobody really heard anything, and everybody was saying it's dead, it's dead. And then, things just came back with an absolute vengeance.
So what made you guys stay? I mean, I know everyone and their mom was just kind of looking for the exit as soon as they can get to it. What made you guys stay on Solana?
I think the big thing was just like the builders. Like, honestly, for us, in some ways we're isolated from the token price. I say that, but like nobody's really truly isolated from the token price, because everybody talks about it. So, as you said, it's like, your mom's asking you, what are you doing? Like, why are you still doing this? Your friends are like, well, you're in crypto. Like, isn't that a scam? And it's like, look, we see the builders and we see like they're building real legit stuff, and we know the tech. And it's like, none of that has actually changed. And I know that, the great people that we're working with at Solana Foundation as well, they honestly leaned into it really well. They're like, yeah, that's right. Solana's dead. There's only like 69 developers. Not sure if you remember that meme from back then as well. It was just literally like, we just saw all of the builders who were building, and the developers were still there. And it's like, none of that has actually changed.
Got it. I want to jump in here. So you have this EZA hackathon as kind of your, connection into the builders who are actually working on these projects. Can you describe what one of these hackathons are like? And then I want to get to kind of where your platform is today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if anybody's coming to Accelerate Miami or Consensus Miami, that is where you'll be able to see all this magic just absolutely happening in May. But essentially, it's a 2 to 3 day event where you've got developers like just super smart. We call them gigabrains. They come in person and they just start building. So as Dom mentioned, we've had literal people who just like started with literally just an idea, got up on stage, and next thing you know, they're raising like millions of dollars from A16Z. They're raising from Founders Fund, like pretty much you name it. So just like super smart people who've got an idea and have the guts to just get up on stage, pitch their hearts out, and ultimately start building projects that end users are going to use in Web3.
Yeah, and the prize money, is that coming from you guys, or do you put together like a pool of investors that are like, okay, we want access to maybe some of these deals, here's some prize money?
Great question. It depends on the event. So it's usually a mix of foundations, so putting together grants. We've got actually some cool stuff we'll be able to announce very, very soon, specific to the Solana community soon at Consensus. But yeah, it's foundations. It's usually this is actually completely grant funding, so like it's no strings attached, and then the investors come in afterwards. So if we were to put together the investors pool as well, obviously that number would be a lot higher.
Okay, awesome. And then is this turning into a launchpad? Obviously, we've seen the rise of ICM. Our whole show is built on the genesis of this concept of startups, using Believe and other launchpads built on Meteor to kind of launch. There's also MetaDAO, et cetera. Like, how do you guys think of the launchpad ecosystem broadly? And is that something you guys are looking at as well?
Really good question. I think what we've seen is like, we always referred to EZA Hackathon as being the launchpad for projects. I think that what we've seen is like, we've got this huge, incredible funnel. We have the EZA app. We've got over 1 million users who are learning about Web3. They're learning about these blockchains. They're learning about Solana. They're learning about Ripple. They're learning about all these different protocols. They come to our hackathons and then they pitch, right? But what we didn't have for a while was really like that full on what happens after the hackathon. And it was really like the 0.0001% of people who are then able to go on and raise that funding from VCs and those networks. And on the other hand as well, we had so many people from our community who are like, guys, I'm seeing all these incredible founders. Can I participate in that? Can I support them? can I actually like, can I buy into that idea somehow? Because it's like you see all these amazing people, they're up on stage, and that's going to be something, right? that idea is going to be something. And so that's why we actually, Dom and I, we got together and we're like, we should actually like turn this into like, the launchpad. Like we've always referred to it as the launchpad. And that was the genesis behind the EZA Kickstart, which is the launchpad that allows these founders to actually take their ideas and actually tokenize them. So they tokenize those ideas, and it means that anybody who is excited about that idea as well can actually buy into that idea. And equally, on the founders' end as well, they can get that idea market fit much faster than they would otherwise have been able to.
Can you talk to me a bit about the pipeline here? I think the biggest mo we've seen, I mean, we see so many people popping up and spinning up their own launch pads, but most of them fall short on the pipeline side. Clearly, this isn't an issue for you guys. You have over 1 million users on the app. Like you said, you run these hackathons, constantly talking to the best teams. Talk to me a bit about the pipeline and how you see that maybe trickling down funnel into maybe launching tokens via the platform.
So we've done it a very interesting way, actually. So we started off with hackathons. We started off with all of these amazing events over the last couple of years, built up a huge community, and now we have the launchpad. I think a lot of the launch pads are doing it the other way around.
Yeah.
We just saw Pump, of course, they launched their hackathon after launching the launch pad. But, we think that this is really the best way to do it because we have those, builders, that huge organic community, basically, of people who actually want to launch startups, like you're showing right there, that team from Axel that got backed by A16Z, they came through EZA, for example. Jeremy as well. He's now a partner at A16Z, and this, really smart, talented people who have basically joined the EZA community because they love to build and they are founders and they inherently want to actually build something long lasting. And now we're giving them an opportunity to launch on Kickstart and really take their ideas to the next level, raise that money, launch that token, and get people backing them.
So help me understand this too. Let's say one of these guys comes through the pipeline, launches a token. Is there some form of incubation or acceleration that you guys are also doing on your end? Or is it like, all right, you launch a token, figure it out?
That's a great question. We launched this as a permissionless protocol. We believe that anybody should be able to come on board, even if they haven't necessarily been spotted by us. They could be anywhere in the world. They need not be at an EZA hackathon even. They might just be one of the people who's all over the people who are all over the world using the EZA app. At the same time, you're absolutely right, Dom. I think that, a big part of this is obviously having that wraparound framework so that developers know how to actually, have a successful launch. And importantly, obviously, like, our bread and butter is actually building real products. And so, yes, we have the wraparound support, and we're actually probably going to announce this soon. But yeah, we're going to, maybe this is the first time we'll be announcing this, but we're going to be running an accelerator for some of the top founders that we're going to select, which is going to be specifically for people who are going to be building on Solana.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. So I guess
I was just gonna say,
there already.
I was just gonna say, MCG exclusive. We love when founders come on. Hear some breaking news.
Get that out of me. Good job.
Hey, the rule is if you start talking about it, you got to finish. So we love that. Can you dig into a little bit about that wrapper? I mean, we see the claim fees kind of platforms. We saw the permissionless Believe platform, which was kind of Wild West. Then you get a little more curated with MetaDAO, where those launches are curated and then use kind of on-chain governance mechanisms. How do you guys think about your own wraparound services to maximize the potential for success here?
Yeah, I mean, look, Dom and I are really, products as well as Silicon Valley, and we are just very, very fast iterators. I think we have a couple of core beliefs. Number one is that it just starts with having great founders. I think once you have great founders, they tend to figure a lot out on their own. At the same time, what we need to do as well is, of course, make sure that they are supported, right? And so that's where we will, we have plans, obviously, to invest in those startups that are actually coming through. Obviously, they just start with an idea, giving them that support. And I think, look, it's going to be a very, very organic process where we know that we just need to start with the best founders who have the best ideas, and then ultimately just give them the support that they need, whether that's investment, whether that is grants, or even just exposure within the community as well, and maybe even coming onto shows like yours as well.
Yeah, of course. And maybe thinking about like the token part of it specifically, there's a lot of question around, if I buy the token, what do I actually own? Is this like a corporate meme coin, or on the other end of the spectrum, is it in some sort of vehicle that makes it kind of tied to the underlying fundamentals of business? How do you guys think about the token as it relates to startups from your point of view?
Really good question. Personally, I've been in the space for a long time. Like, it's been, I can't believe it, it's been like over a decade now. I think, tokens are a spectrum. I don't necessarily see tokens as, what a lot of people say, like, there's like, X type of token, there's like, there's a meme coin, or there is a utility token, or there's like a security token, or any one of these. I see it as like, a spectrum of different, just like a whole gamut, right? And I think on the one hand, a big part of what we want to do with EZA Kickstart is literally just idea coins, right? You've got a cool idea and let's get it out. Let's see if the market likes that. Let's see if they are. And it's nothing more than an idea, right? And I think especially in the age of AI agents, I actually think that this is the time of the idea guy. And so I'm very, very excited about that. Whereas like 2-3 years ago, the idea wasn't what matters. It was all about the execution. Nowadays, today, if you put in that idea into an AI agent or just form that into a good prompt, you've got a startup pretty much there, right? And so I think on the one hand, there's like the ideas, and also, again, a little bit of, I guess, an exclusive piece. We were just coming off a really good call with the Meteora team. They've got some cool stuff going on with Bedrock as well, which is, your point, Josh, more on that, a little bit more of that ownership side, so that actually people have more of those rights in the actual, what the founder's really building from like a legal standpoint as well.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, that's they use a special purpose vehicle. They use an SPV to acquire equity, and they kind of sit on the board, I guess, as the intermediary, and then everyone else holds pieces of that SPV, which hold the equity in a company. Is that how I'm understanding Bedrock?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's more info that they'll be sharing on that as well. Currently going to be looking at the legal memo that they're sending over on that side. But yeah, I think that's obviously going to be the rough idea behind it, so that there's more than just as you said, more than just this sort of intangible kind of like, I promised that maybe I will kind of do something around it. It's actually something that's a little bit more real.
Yeah,
I'm actually really.
These are tough legal questions to answer, but I think like from our point of views, and we talk to the traders every day. The traders have been in some cases burned by an acquisition of a product or a team, and then the token kind of just goes to zero, and then everyone's wondering like, well, what do we actually own when we buy? And traders are getting a lot smarter now into this, and so I think investors also then on the the fund side is. Liquid funds, they also want to know these same questions, because some of these things aren't investable from their point of view. And I think you want their capital to a certain extent as well. So yeah, just, really excited about Bedrock. Of course, we love the Meteora team, shout out Meteora, but sorry, Chill, I kind of cut you off there if you want to ask your question.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to ask a question around ownership as well. Just because you see, like for example, recently Multibook was acquired by Meta, but nothing went to the token holders. I mean, there's speculation around that, but degens will degen, I guess you can say. But at the end of the day, a lot of these assets, what I like to say is it's just a social contract, a very loose social contract between a team and a community. And so I feel like ownership kind of strengthens those ties and gives accountability and make sure there's some accountability there. So I'm really glad to hear that, you're a launch pad that's pursuing this sort of ownership angle with your idea coins. That's, I mean, what brought on that conversation for you? You said you've been in the space for a while, so I'm assuming you've noticed this kind of rinse and wash trend.
Oh yeah, I mean, right from the very beginning. I mean, look, I think this is nothing new. Like, maybe people coming in this cycle are like, oh yeah, with the stuff that's going on right now, with the stuff that's happening with meme coins. I mean, we saw this, way back in the day with like all these different coins that were launching. I mean, maybe the most famous examples that are like slightly older would be the ICOs, right? It's just like so many ICOs where it's like, we're going to do this, boom. I won't mention any particular names right here, but I think there's, a couple of very, very, very big ones that honestly today are sitting on huge treasuries because they just put it all in like, Bitcoin and ETH. And, just, well, obviously, for the people behind it did very well, but like the token holders didn't really like, or the people who are meant to be getting, an actual product in return didn't really get anything. So I think we are really like, the reason we're building it like this is because we're a product of those experiences. As Dom mentioned as well, I think, we come at this from a different angle, right? It's not we're building a launch pad for the sake of launching tokens. It's really like we've always set out from the beginning to make sure that founders can actually be successful, to make sure that founders can launch great products and also get success with their cool ideas and make sure that those ideas get surfaced, as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah,
and
Phil,
in that vein, if I could take
go.
this one real quick, Dom, in that vein, I had a question I wanted to ask just around making sure that you mentioned you want to make sure that these founders get the support that they need. Can you speak a little bit to the community that you fostered over this time? You mentioned earlier in the interview, you spent years kind of building this community and network of developers. There was even a video earlier that Dom had up that was kind of showed some of that network that you had in terms of the amount of developers, partners that you're working with. Can you kind of shed a little bit more light on, number one, that network that you've built up, and two, like how that network you can make that available to founders to help out?
Yeah, absolutely. It started off really, really organically. I did my undergrad at Cambridge University in the UK. Dom was at UPenn, Wharton. Really, sprung out of those environments. And those, when we first started EZA, we actually went back to the colleges. And we're like, look, we're building this cool thing. He was excited about it. It was very organic. And so the origin behind EZA was actually university networks. And so today we partner with hundreds of the world's best university blockchain clubs. Students eventually found out about it, and it just started spreading like wildfire amongst students via word of mouth. So that was the beginning. And then eventually we started having like these amazing success stories of students who dropped out. I mean, one amazing one, like Dom mentioned, Cognition. Walden literally dropped out of Harvard, moved to Silicon Valley, didn't tell his parents. Next thing he knew, he's obviously, raised at a $10 billion valuation. And success stories like that just created the most amazing word of mouth flywheel that just showed to other founders, like, if you are building, you want to be with EZA, you want to come into this community. And of course, as part of that as well, we've had amazing founders who created amazing startups, then gone on to work in VC. And so there's like this, honestly, just like looking at it from a 10,000 foot view now, sometimes I take a step back, I'm like, it's actually crazy what has happened over the past couple of years. Because like organically, we built out this community of the world's smartest founders, the world's most influential VCs. And it just all works. Like we didn't necessarily intentionally build it from the very beginning like that. It's just how it happened. It's just insane.
How long have you been building this network?
We hosted our first hackathon in about the spring/summer of 2022. Wow. We started EZA just before that, a little bit before that. But yeah, in the current form, it's been about four or so years now.
Speaking of this network, I see you guys here, House of Lords, which I'm actually not really sure what that is, but we got the Queen up here. Shout out the Queen. I'm Canadian, so I know about the Queen. But yeah, give us an idea of this network. So you're obviously network on the investor side, you're networking on the project side, and then probably there's some technology in between. But yeah, what's your network look like on the investor side? Obviously for projects, they want to see it. And then for traders, we want to know kind of what projects are coming through.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's really important to be connected with everyone in all of the important places, of course, who are responsible for shaping legislation, etc. So, yeah, this is the House of Lords, which is part of UK Parliament. It's where a lot of the major decisions get shaped and formed and discussed. And, of course, they want to keep an eye out on what's going on with emerging technologies. So we always make sure we're there as well to represent crypto and the industry as a whole. We also, next week, heading to DC to meet with the SEC, the Senate Banking Committee, etc., and a couple of other really important teams, in order to just, tell them about crypto, educate them. That's what we do. It's all about making sure they understand it, the benefits, the premise behind the whole industry, and why they should actually care about it. Because for us, we really believe that if they don't understand it, they can't really get into it, and they can't really shape legislation that actually advances the industry as a whole. So that's a big thesis behind what we do. And then, of course, we tell them about what we're working on, get them bullish on EZA and the different projects, etc.
Will you guys, number one, will you guys have a token yourself? Yeah, let me just stick with that question first.
Great question. Yeah, for now, we haven't announced any token yet. So if you see any tokens floating around on Pump Fun or on any platform, they're not an EZA token. It's something that obviously, we are considering ourselves, definitely. I think, it's a matter of, making sure that it really, fits within where we want to go with the EZA. I think, we've seen a lot of success from tokens. We've also seen a lot of, tokens that haven't been done well. The most important thing as well for us as a community is, of course, when we bring on board, people and outside capital, that, we are great stewards of that, and that there is going to be, a very, very strong, community as well, and so sort of where that goes. So yeah, short answer to that question is not yet, but something we are considering.
No, good. Honestly, I mean, the fact that you're not introducing a token at this stage, I think is even more so bullish. I think it's always important to kind of have that proof of concept out there first. You've already kind of garnered the community, but now it's kind of time to build up the reputation, and then you kind of move on to the token stage. So I really love the way you guys are doing that. I guess the next question is just, when will you start kind of launching tokens, for these idea coins that you guys have in mind?
Really good question. So we've done a soft launch earlier this week. What we are doing is we want to make sure that we have that wraparound support like we were talking about for these founders. And so together with some of the community, together with the Meteora team as well, we're working on a really cool program, that accelerator, which we're going to be kicking off for founders. And again, I guess a little bit of something I haven't shared yet, but we want to be working on that as a very, very clear road to consensus as well. You guys, hopefully are going to be there as well. Like, you will see, it is the Super Bowl of blockchain. It's going to be like almost 20,000 people there, the world's biggest investors, the most powerful people in Web3 and crypto, even, just within investment as a whole, put them up on stage. So we're working on that very, very clear roadmap. Technically it's permissionless, it's live, but, I'd say when it's really, really going to get exciting is, when we actually have that roadmap, which is together, for that accelerator for the founders that we're launching. So we will, if you want to stay tuned, obviously keep an eye out on the EZA Kickstart Twitter, and we'll be sharing more about it on there.
Got it. And you mentioned,
okay, go ahead, Joe.
Last question that I had was, you mentioned like kind of support for these projects. A lot of people in the space, especially when you think about degens, they think of support as pump the token price, right? So, but obviously that's not the extent of support that founders may actually need to grow and scale their business. So from that standpoint, how do you guys look at support for projects? Because I feel like someone kind of needs to still, how do I say, take the lead in supporting projects in a real meaningful way, rather than just kind of criming coins up, as CT likes to say.
Yeah, I think for us, we look at it as, sometimes we try to make this massive distinction between what happens in crypto and what happens in, like, equities or stocks or startups. Really, if you're looking at it from a very fundamental perspective, there are some differences, but ultimately what makes a good founder still is what makes a good founder. They're a smart person who's driven, who, is not gonna, who has good morals as well and really wants to build something for the long term, is not just gonna, rug people. Like, the idea of a rug, like in crypto, sometimes we think it's like a unique thing, and maybe it's like kind of a crypto term. But like, if you look at the SEC's website, most of this stuff actually happens not in crypto. It's like they just busted this Ponzi scheme that was running in, like, this state, all that stuff, right? And so when I talk about support, when we talk about support, it's really like, it's just the real support that you can give to a real person to build something that's going to be legit, right? And it all starts with just having great people, with giving them mentorship. I'll give you a good example, right? And, this hackathon, for example, Consensus Hong Kong just happened, right? We're running the line, we're talking with these founders, and then one of them comes up to me and is like, hey, you know what? I'm looking for investors. I then connect them up with other investors who are there, who can help to fund that project and get them from literally, this hackathon that you're looking at on the screen right now, they literally just started with ideas to help them get it from an idea into something which is a bit beyond that. Here we have Glenn, who was just up on screen. He is from the Blockchain for Good Alliance. He was one of our judges. He was here with, obviously the philanthropic arm of Bybit as well. So just all these different connections within the ecosystem. And ultimately, look, when you have those connections, when you've got those big institutional players in, it's worth a lot more than, X person, pumping X amount into a coin, that they're then going to take out over the course of, like, 10 days. days.
On one end of this, though, is the investor side. I think we've seen, through this ICM movement, some, traditional Web 2 founders, they get wrapped up into a token and then it becomes a distraction, or they have people that are yelling at them, hey, you haven't tweeted recently. It's been 2 days. Like, what are you working on? And all of a sudden they go from, I used to have private, I'd sell my equity privately and then like I could focus on building and my customers are paying customers. Now they have this world where, sure, on the good end with like projects like Kled, it's like the token was the growth engine that got them to raise at a potential hundreds of millions of dollars of valuation. But on the bad end, you got builders that are getting, kind of harassed or distracted. Is that something you guys support projects with too? Like how to think of a token post launch, with kind of that community support element? And I guess what expectations do you kind of, I think this leads into launchpads too, is they need to prime their token holders or investors with some sort of expectation of, what to expect.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Josh. And I believe that's absolutely right. Like, there needs to be very, very clear setting of expectations. Like, for example, from the very beginning with Idea Coins, which, we are pioneering with EZA Kickstart, we're very clear, like, these just start as literal ideas, right? And if you're starting with an idea, don't expect it to be like you are not investing in a company. It's literally just an idea. And, some ideas are absolutely amazing. They're absolutely fantastic, but most are terrible, right? Like most ideas are never going anywhere. And that's the point. And I think, it just, coming to your earlier question around, the whole like, token, that sort of thing, like being a distraction. In some ways, yeah, I'm sympathetic to that. I'm sympathetic to the idea that founders like, just want to build. But at the same time, it's like, I'm also not sympathetic, and I kind of like side with the, traders at some point as well, and just be like, look, if you are a founder and you are, tapping into that community, you better respect them, right? You better respect the traders who are taking their time, putting their capital to work, trying to support you as well. And, again, like further to my point that I made, just a couple of minutes ago, it's like, this is not so different in crypto compared to equities. Like, I know so many founders who are like, oh, the good old days before my company wasn't public, right? And it's like, we could just focus on this stuff. We didn't have to worry about the stock price the whole time. It's like, look, at some point, you're going to have other people who are on your cap table in, if you're in equities, or you might have token holders if you launch a token. Totally. It's like, choose which one you want. Ultimately, you gotta, for lack of a better word, man up and, respect your investors and your traders as well. And make sure that like, you're not just complaining and you're just going to be like, oh, you know what? I'm not, I don't know. I love the good old days when I didn't have this. It's like, you can't really have your cake and eat it there. And so I think it's setting that guidance for founders. That's like, look, if you're going to be in this game, make that decision and just respect it.
Also, there are like two sides to the coin here. It's like you have the Avi Patel cases on one side where it's like you can take this bootstrap community and turn it into, a multi-$100 million raise like Kled AI just closed, right? So it's like, and again, he started with just an idea. He started with a vision, but because he had so much support from Twitter, so much people to believe in him, the funding that it gave him, he could use that and run with it. So it's like, and I really love your answer there with that, Phil. There are two sides to the coin, right? You can kind of shy away from the community and not make announcements, or you could completely lean into it. And it's totally up to the founder what to do there.
Yeah, well said.
I want to ask a bit about your business model here, the EZA business model. Do you guys take a % of equity or a % of raise? Like, how do you guys think about your own business?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. For us, the biggest thing for us from the very beginning has been just, to grow. So we've really been focused on growth. And yeah, you'll see that up on the numbers right here. Obviously we have some of the coolest startups, going forwards, and especially, what's relevant for Kickstart as well is, and I think this will align really, really well with the community, is we want to, be really investing in those startups as well. And so, taking a stake in those guys, obviously on the one hand, it shows that we believe in them. On the other hand as well, it's very lucrative. Like, we cut the first checks into some of these, incredible startups that you'll be able to see on, some of these other slides as well, and our Twitter feed as well. And, ultimately that is the best, like the single best way to align. It's like, it's not just having, and going out and saying, look, we'll have, X amount that, you need to pay us in order to access the platform, or any sort of that. Like if you look at the EZA app, it's completely free. Like you never have to pay a single dollar in order to access any of the content in the EZA app. We eat that all up. We suck that all up. You never have to pay to an EZA hackathon as well to come. So when you come to EZA Consensus Miami, you'll be able to come to the hackathon completely for free as long as you're a cracked developer. It's really about those long-term incentive alignments, and where we see this really growing is obviously on the investment side, and also we are, working on a number of on-chain products as well that we haven't announced yet, but will be coming soon, which really will allow people to use crypto a lot more easily. The big vision that we have is allowing people to tap into DeFi, within the push of a few buttons and bringing people onto crypto rails. So the short answer is investments plus, the on-chain products that we're building.
This is really interesting. I actually really like this angle you're taking about, okay, we do want to cut some of the first checks to these innovative ideas. I think that's one thing we see a lot of launchpads shy away from is, okay, you can't talk about this token, you can't invest in this token because it's favoritism. I kind of flip that script. It's like, well, or you could put your money where your mouth is as a launchpad, and support some of the people coming through your pipeline. So I do really love that. I want to take this question back to something you mentioned a lot, or a bit earlier, and you continue to mention it. Is the idea guy is so powerful today? You can really just spin up anything with an idea. We also see the market uniquely today has a lot of interest in volatility, right? People want access to private equity. Some of the most safe assets, gold, silver, oil, are extremely volatile these days, right? It just seems like that's becoming the nature of the markets. When you're looking at your launchpad and what tokens are going to be on your launchpad, are you looking for later stage companies, or will it be that idea guy who's starting from, just an idea?
I think the most exciting point has always been and always will be the idea stage, right? As early as you can get. I think even if you look at it within Web 2 and just the normal world, all of the alpha is in being early, right? Like that's what's really exciting. Private equity guys can come in later to companies and they'll come in at multi-billion dollar valuations. That's because they're only looking at getting, 50% return or 2x, or, even a couple of X return multiple. Because there's only a limited number of investments where they can park like a couple $100 million or even $1 billion at a time. I think, where we've always been excited and where we've already seen our success is literally from taking these people, these diamonds in the rough who have amazing minds, amazing visions, amazing ambitions, and just giving them that extra support, right? And giving them those connections, being like, look, you know what? You're super smart. You're from this, you've got this amazing idea. All you need is this connection, or all you need is a community, or all you need is like just the ability to get your word out there. You've got an amazing product. And I think like that is what's exciting for us. And that's why obviously with EZA Kickstart, we decided to focus on, coin this meta of the idea coin. It's what we're really, really excited about.
I want to ask about the projects. Any specific projects that you can talk to us that are coming through your pipeline here? What like, are these AI projects, Web 2 companies? Like, am I investing in, farmland or a farmer creating tomatoes? What are your products like, or projects? Sorry.
Good question. Yeah, I can speak to the ones like, made a post on LinkedIn the other day, teasing towards obviously the accelerator that we're launching, on Solana. I had a number of different ones. Like we had a really, really cool one, student who just graduated 2 years ago from Cambridge, and he is building a smart contract security AI agent, which is really cool, right? Because like we've already seen, you can exploit these protocols, potentially get all the proceeds, and then maybe even use that to like buy back a token. Like how cool would that be? Like insane, right? It's like monetization built in. We've got like some other YC startups who are applying. They're building one of them is building a PubDex actually. The other one is currently building like stablecoin remittances solution. So it's like really across the spectrum. I'd say most are definitely around tech, and I think that obviously like that is where you can have the fastest growth, rather than being like necessarily like real world infrastructure. We have one team actually that's building a phone, which is really cool. But yeah, it's mostly around the tech side. So like maybe some like fast or like high tech hardware, and then you've also got software. But yeah, it's mostly around those.
Yeah, anyone in the hardware, drones, defense, robotics?
Robotics, absolutely. Yeah, and we're super bullish on that as well. Been talking to a lot of founders about that. And yeah, so like some of the hardware some of the AI integrated hardware like robotics, some smart glasses as well, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the really cool thing about Kickstarter is that because it's so dynamic and so real time, anyone who has their projects can put it live up there and actually start getting traction. We see everything at the cutting edge, so it's a great place to keep an eye out if you are looking for the most exciting AI projects, the most exciting robotics projects as well. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, what's cool is like what a lot of founders have said is actually like we called it Kickstart, and a lot of them are like, yes, it's like Kickstarter, right? It's like everybody knows Kickstarter, where you actually like a person has a cool idea for a product.
We're not affiliated with Kickstarter, right?
No, we're not affiliated with Kickstarter, but it's like Kickstarter. It's like you got a cool idea for a product, right? You put it out there, and you like it literally can start with literally just a mock-up, and then the whole community galvanizes, and they're like, actually, I really, really love this, and they get behind it, they put their money behind it, and you can be the one of the first people. Like it's like it is like something which is so fundamental to what humans really want and how technology drives forwards. It's just that over the past decade or so, it's been so strange that like retail have consistently been squeezed out of these massive opportunities. Whereas previously you look at companies that go public, they would go public at like $100 million. Now you don't have companies going public for like unless it's at least like $1 billion or maybe even like $10 billion. I think this is something we really want to change as well. And obviously, these are not securities. They're not, not investing in the company initially. But like, look, I think like it's all about these investment opportunities, these like, these opportunities to buy into something which is a lot earlier stage, like Kickstarter, where you can just buy into something that's cool. You don't have to necessarily invest in the company even initially. It's literally just something that's really, really cool and you want to get behind and you want to back.
So I want to just kind of pick your brains here because you guys are seeing all the bleeding edge in technology. I feel like we see a good bit of that too on the show. But what are you guys most excited for in terms of vertical? I heard stable coins getting thrown there, perp decks, robotics, lots of these crypto buzzwords we're seeing. What's your favorite, I guess, vertical or thing that you're seeing emerge right now?
Yeah, I can go first. I think there's like I can speak about what I'm excited about now in this present moment, where we'll come on and see if that changes in a couple of weeks or months. There's really, really two things that I'm absolutely captivated by and I cannot stop thinking about. Number one, it's obviously AI agents and just this ability that you could even have, like maybe on our platform, we'll even have AI agents just launching their own ideas and building them out. And it'll be like completely just autonomous, right? I just think like this is absolutely going to be happening. One of my good friends that actually built our first startup with at Cambridge, he went on to lead AI safety at Anthropic. And Dom and I have been at the bleeding edge of a lot of the AI developments over the past couple of years. It's like, I just think we're at this moment where you'll be able to like, it's going to fundamentally change like the way that we do business and everything. And I think number two is in that vein as well, robotics. Like imagine how cool it would be if you could have your own AI, not just AI personal assistant, your AI robot personal assistant, right? That went to Starbucks for you and got you a coffee. Like, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit hungry. It's coming up to lunchtime. It's almost 1:15 here in New York. And it's like, I'd love it just to go out and get me a sandwich or something, or like, just even go and, go and cook me something or those sorts of things. I think, even just down to a fundamental level, like, I'm not sure if any of you have been in like a Waymo or a driverless car anytime, but it's like you get in there and the experience is just so much better than anything out there, Karen. It's
driverless car, but there was a guy still sitting there, to be fair.
That doesn't count. You got to have a driverless car without the actual driver. Completely changes the experience. I'm totally sold on it. I'm a massive believer in robotics. I think that this is just absolutely the way forwards.
Until it parks you in the middle of the road, right?
Yeah, exactly. Do you think owning things is like the way to escape the permanent underclass is what we always like to ask? In terms of like owning agents that go and create economic value, owning robotics that go create economic value, assuming that all our jobs are going to be replaced?
It's something I've been thinking about a lot because I think it's a really, really serious question. And I think this idea of the underclass is very, very, very real. Some people think it's like sort of like a meme. I actually don't. I think it's very, very serious and very real. And I think that, ultimately, I just see it as being like, AI is going to accelerate the underclass. The underclass is going to grow a lot bigger, and it's going to be even more permanent because unless you can leverage these tools to actually escape it, you're going to be stuck. But I think that on the flip side, the great thing is like you do have these tools, right? And like you can literally be a kid in the middle of nowhere with access to ChatGPT and a mobile phone or even Replit, right? And you can literally like build anything you want to anybody anywhere in the world. So like, it's going to exacerbate the gap. But yeah, I genuinely think like it's a bit of ownership. Like obviously you need to have ownership, whether that's like, you know, building something yourself or, you know, something that somebody else has built and investing into that. I absolutely think it's so important. And I think that's why, you know, I'm so bullish on crypto, so bullish on blockchain as well, because like ultimately we need these mechanisms so that, you know, let's say even you build this cool thing, right? And you think you have ownership over it, but like OpenAI is then going to be like, actually, you know, they've done this with so many products. They're going to be like, oh, actually, this guy has a really successful product. I'm just going to like, just do that myself. I'm going to integrate that into ChatGPT and boom, you know, this kid's amazing idea is just gone. And like, you know, it's Sam Altman who now like just owns everything.
Yeah.
I think the ownership model surrounding like autonomous businesses or agents is really, really interesting, where it's like, okay, I have this autonomous agent that's going to go do these tasks. It needs $10,000 in funding in exchange for 25% of treasury or revenues that flow through it. And I think having a community DAO governance model over autonomous beings is like a really interesting way of having that ownership without I don't know, maybe directly having to go and build it or have the idea yourself.
And it's starting to happen. Like Chill invested in this token called Felix, which this agent's gone out and made like $150,000 selling like sub agents to people or something like that, to like normies, not even like crypto revenue. It's like off crypto revenue.
It's actually up to 300,000.
$300,000 this agent's made just by selling stuff.
Yeah, non-crypto related revenue.
Chill's escaped the permanent underclass just on this one trade. So.
Maybe it's AI agents that are just going to be escaping, right? We got humans.
Dom, I'm just holding on to the coattails. I'm just riding the coattail.
Hey, that's all you want to do. Dom, maybe we parlay that question over you too. What are you most excited about in terms of technology here?
Well, I mean, I think we're really excited just to see how AI is really making all the developers in our community so much more efficient. You know, we see with, of course, OpenClaw and similar tools like that, people are just able to do so much more with such few people and such few hours in terms of, you know, actual physical man time. So if you look at, developers who come to hackathons, typically would take them a couple of days to do what they can literally do in an hour now with an AI prompt. If you look at, you know, tasks that typically took many months for developers to complete and, you know, many lines of code handwritten, AI can now do that in a couple of hours. And ultimately, we're seeing so many more advanced projects come out of the hackathons that we host, so many more elaborate demos. Of course, AI can also help in terms of putting together presentations and actually creating live demos that people can then understand what people are building, which again is just really decreasing the barriers to adoption and the barriers to entry for so many people on the outside. And so for us as well, it's not only about that, but also allowing whole new people to come into the space. You know, you don't even have to be an advanced coder to actually launch a meaningful project, as we've seen with all of the AI tools like Claude, etc. So for us, that is the most exciting thing, and this is why we're launching Kickstart at this particular time, when we are, you know, opening up the EZA magic to all of these different people and really bringing on those developers who actually can use AI to build products that actually, can be used and sort of are production ready much sooner. So yeah, for us, you know, I think the combination of AI Kickstarts is going to really catapult EZA into the stratosphere over the next few months.
Yep, it's absolutely changing how things are done. Another question, I see all these, these schools down here that you guys work with. Do you guys have some sort of scout program? Obviously, we see a lot of great talent come out of Stanford, Yale, MIT, et cetera, Princeton. Do you guys have like a scout program to maybe capture some of this talent and direct it to you guys?
Great question. Yeah, typically we'll host hackathons, in the vicinity or, on the actual campus. So, for example, if we look at Stanford, we hosted a hackathon, pretty recently in San Francisco. At Harvard, we're hosting hackathons at Harvard right on campus all the time. So yeah, typically we'll use the hackathons as this magnet to bring just the best talent out there. We don't have a formal scout program yet, actually, but good idea. Something that we've been thinking about. If there's anybody listening who wants to be a scout, DM either Dom or me.
There you go. I think, we're going to respect your time here and let you guys get to it. I got one last question. In terms of support and, what you guys are going to do for your, launchies, I guess you would call it. I think Believe, although they did a lot of things wrong, they did some things really, really right. One of which was showing us that there's a ton of demand for these early stage companies. But also they had like a, like a tools program, I guess you could call it, where it's, hey, if you've launched with us, you can get this discount on AI credits, or you can get access to, these tools that builders typically use. Are you guys looking to go and do business development on this side, where you go and get some really good deals for founders inside the ecosystem?
Absolutely. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think that, when we look at, for example, what YC have done, like obviously YC are like the accelerator par excellence. If you're YC startup, or even if you go to like, YC startup school, which is like, available to anybody, they give you access to all these different tools. Definitely something I think we're, currently looking at what the best way is, to start off with. I think, on the investment side, and also like, just on the grant side, giving developers and giving those founders just, that money that they can use to buy anything. And then that's where we can go ahead and, strike those deals with other people as well. And especially in crypto as well, other facilitators of that as well. So yeah, absolutely.
Really quick, I don't think we talked about the raise mechanics. Are these like flat raises, bonding curve? Like, what is are people buying at a $5 million valuation, $100K valuation? What does the raise mechanic look like?
Great question. Starts right at the bottom at around 3K, and then it's on bonding curve, and then afterwards.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay,
get the upside there.
The old Meteor DVC. We'll bookmark that. Awesome.
Love it. This has been a fascinating conversation. Yes, absolutely. We'll be trading it for sure. This has been a really exciting conversation. Fascinating. You guys have, a really, really interesting angle here. And I think you got a great pipeline, it seems, as well. Yeah. On that note, I think we'll just close off here. What are you guys most excited for in terms of roadmap? What are you guys working on? Where's your head at?
I'm excited to see you guys at Consensus Miami.
Let's go.
You guys are coming out.
Let's do it. No, guys, this has been an absolutely great conversation. Very interesting. We appreciate you guys coming on. And again, doors open. So like, you guys want to come back, you got some stuff, some development that you're working on, some big things you're working on, feel free to just hit us up. We'll be happy to have you guys back on the show. Amazing conversation
too.
Fantastic. Yeah, I appreciate you hosting.
Oh, this was awesome. Thanks, guys.
And real quick, I saw, on the video, it looks like you guys are juiced up a little bit. What kind of workout routine are you guys doing? It seems like you're on the road all the time.
We just try and hit the gym every day, wherever we are. We just try and get an hour and a half in the gym and make sure we're always staying ready for battle.
Let's go, baby. All right, guys. We'll catch you later. Thanks for coming.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Take care. Jacked Founders, Gigabrains, and they're talking about ownership on a bonding curve. Like, I mean, come on, bro.
Hit me with that bonding curve, I want that CLED at 5K,
Yep.
Can I say this though? My biggest takeaway from this interview is they're having ownership on a bonding curve with projects that they've already built up relationships with over the last 4 years, and they're willing to support these projects in the absolutely right way, not just criming coins up, but really like giving them a hand, and they're going to put their money where their mouth is, right? So my thing is, I think this is probably one of the better launch pads that I've seen in recent times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm reaching there a little bit.
No, I don't think you're reaching at all. With the caveat though, we have seen launch pads like Surge, like Developer, with insane launch pads, run hackathons, similar models, kind of fall flat, right? So there still is the execution. They've given a good pitch. They have a great, I think, road ahead. Now it's got to be executed on. But you're right. Like, it looks very promising.
I think what the difference between some launch pads versus another, there are some out there that are kind of like an ownership on a bonding curve, but still needs some more work done on the BD side. Or there could be like, the surges, but it's like a pre-sale and it kind of eliminates that price appreciation aspect for traders. We've seen launch pads launch, but it's just kind of solving the demand side, like what attracts traders to your platform. So I'm interested to see what they do on that side. But I think from a pure price appreciation speculation standpoint, if you have tokens starting out and they're coming up on a bonded curve, but instead of being able to rug or being able to bundle, it's it's a fair shot with every trader. Like I kind of don't see how this doesn't work, especially if the projects are actually pretty good fundamentally and in narrative.
Gotta get them through the door. What's up, Abe? Happy Friday, man. Glad to be ready for the weekend here. It's been a nice way to close it off too with the charts going up. But
Yeah,
good time to jump, boys. What do you want to talk about here for the next?
I was gonna say I don't know if you guys want to jump. If you want to, like, absolutely, I'd be happy to like just riff through some stuff
Go
with
ahead,
chat
riff.
for a little bit.
Yeah, we can riff through some stuff with the chat. Until in the meantime, though, maybe I'll just run through some of the stuff I got saved.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah.
DRV, a conversation we had the other day. They just put out a thread. Or Delphine Digital, I think, put out a thread on them recently. Maybe we read through this a bit, and I get your take on what you think.
Yeah.
What you think is going on with this? I don't know if you've had any development.
Damn, DRV just keeps making me
Keeps
look
popping
bad
up.
over here.
I saw that Delphi Digital article. I was wondering. I didn't get a chance to read it, so like I'm happy we get to like unbox it on stream.
Yeah, here, context real quick. I'll jump to this chart. I mean, yowdy. Was that from about 100%, over 100, 120% up here? Let's see. Yeah, even more, 140% up. Yeah, so that's the chart for context. Yeah, not so bad in today's market. Okay. But I'll jump to the thread. So I haven't read this. I just saw it before stream. I'm like, dude, we got to talk about it because we've been talking about this quite a bit on stream. Would love to get them on. I'm trying to reach out, guys. I'm trying to make it happen. But I'll just read through this. Derived DRV. According to Delphine Digital's latest report, Bitcoin options open interest just flipped futures open interest for the first time, $65 billion. This is important structural shift in crypto derivatives right now, and almost nobody is talking about it. I'm going to read the thread, and we'll circle back to Delphine Digital because I think this is going to summarize it. Delphine, I'm sure, gave quite the long write-up here. CME derivatives, IBIT. Institutions don't use, and I'll switch the photo here. Institutions don't use raw leverage. They need to define risk. CME crypto derivatives plus 46% versus last year's record. IBIT options surpassed GLD in open interest. CME 2025 notional $3 trillion. The hedging pipeline is massive, but most of it still runs through intermediaries. Number 3, on-chain perps, hype and DRV. On-chain perps went from 2% to 10% market share. Wow. Hyperliquid was the catalyst, but on-chain options haven't had their moment yet. And of course, this is the conversation with DRV. It's being compared to Hyperliquid, but rather than a perp dex, you actually have your on-chain options, right? So that's the comparison being made. Derivatives is a leading candidate to capture this asymmetric upside with 700 million plus notional in the last 30 days. No other on-chain option protocol is close. Unique setup, DRV. What makes derivatives different? Gasless CLOB on its own OP stack L2. Okay. These are blockchain buzzwords that I'm not going to be able to translate for you guys. Portfolio margin, hedge position equals less collateral. Perps plus lending plus options on the same layer 2 cross margin. This is how TradFi derivatives de-risk operate derivatives protocol bought it on chain.
If I can, this is kind of similar to how Hyperliquid works. Hyperliquid is like a pseudo EVM L2, and it allows it to kind of gate the exchange, which has worked when there's like things like the jelly manipulation, stuff like that. But also you don't have to like sign every transaction, which I think has been one of the barriers to these types of contracts.
Yeah. And the last piece of that article was just, regulations are coming. So, I don't know. I'm starting to see a lot of chatter pick up on it. And, whether you like it or not, right? The options market, it is big. And, there are people out there that trade it. So
I'll say this. I go back to Pendle all the time. I saw Pendle at 15 mil market cap. It proceeded to run to billions over the course of the following 12 months. I just didn't understand Pendle. So I thought like, dang, I can't understand it. I don't know who the heck will. The reality is there were people like that knew how to use that technology and they were using it. I just because I didn't understand it didn't mean that there wasn't a demographic out there that did. And so in a similar fashion here, I'm taking this to say options are taking market share. I mean, people trade options all the time. Obviously, there's demand on this platform. So although I don't understand the inner workings of options, I'm going to go with the left curve as this, with the smooth brain degen that I am. I'm going to go on the left curve and say, well, numbers are going up metrics wise. So the price should follow at some point or another. Right. And maybe market share starts to follow as well.
Yeah. I mean, look at
that
these numbers.
chart there, Dom. Can you pull that chart back up? It says it's survived the bear market. It'll be the next one over.
Yeah, I will. Also, look at this, though. Note this. Crypto derivatives volume is running 46% above last year's record pace.
People are using it, man. That tells you all you need to know. It's metrics going up, so price will follow, and it's already started.
October 2021. Wow, they've been around since October of 2021.
That's impressive.
I mean, massive spike too upon launch there. Yeah, I mean, but even look at the chart since July of 2022. Steady uptrend, obviously peaks and troughs, but overall, you can draw an ascending wedge there. If Chill had this chart in front of him, we'd have an ascending wedge on it.
Higher highs. I mean, higher lows.
Let's go. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. Whether or not we like the mechanism, people are using it, right? And the numbers are there, and the numbers don't lie. So the question, I guess, comes down to how many people are using it, how does it tie back into the token? And yeah, look, you're kidding yourself if you think this is the next hype. It's not the next hype. Nothing is going to be the next anything, right? So,
well.
Right. Only after you buy the token is it the next hype.
No, I've heard, I've never seen it actually once manifest where someone's like, this is the next blank, and it actually happens. Not saying it can't get massive, but it's just, I don't know. You can't always compare things, but these numbers are pretty compelling. Solid DRV thread. But when do you guys want to pull that up?
Oh, Daddy Duster. That's the one that we talked about like twice so far this week. We pulled that up, so I don't want to pull it up again. Found him after change, bought 100K worth a few weeks back. Guest team has been building for years. Been watching him closely, especially on his large calls. Yeah, Cool Crypto looks like a pretty Chad dude. He's top 100 all-time hyperliquid P&L, so obviously he knows something about trading. And he did call GMX, Pendle, and he caught hype early as well. So you gotta give credit where credit is due. And he's interested in this. Obviously, there's a full thesis and breakdown behind it, and the metrics, kind of show that the thesis is already playing out. So yeah, DRV is definitely one to watch. I don't know. This is one of the ones where it's like, all right, if I'm looking at an entry here, do I wait for a pullback or?
Yeah, you got to.
You know what I mean? Like the chart looks really strong, but I think we shouldn't really get lost in the metrics. These things will go up and down. As fast as it can go up, it can go down. There'll be peaks, there'll be troughs, there'll be buys, there'll be sells, and I think you're better off getting in on dips and DCAing those dips versus just like
any levels here that I can know.
I can maybe pull up a chart and see what's up.
Let's give the people a golden
box.
Yeah,
I think the question becomes, okay, we're seeing the numbers, we're seeing the growth, like the thesis is pretty much there. Now can we see how much is driving back into the token in terms of like value? What is the effects on the token?
25% buybacks.
25% buybacks. Okay. What's do we know? Do we have earnings reports from them?
I don't think so.
Because I mean, look, you could give a pretty proper price to earnings ratio on this if you wanted to, right? Just you find revenue, take 25% of that and then give a multiple on that 25%.
So is the token new? Like this is tokens only since 2025.
No,
the platform's been around for a while.
Let's see. Jesus, this came. Oh my! No way. This is real. That candle can't be real, guys.
It's.
I think that's a bug.
Painful.
It's indeed very painful.
Well, it could be. I don't know. What would that? This is at 7.5 mil is what that says. That's incorrect. But okay.
I think
because that's. Yeah, I don't understand. I got to read into the market cap here too because I saw FDV was at like 99. I believe.
Let me see.
Yeah, FDV 99. So Is it fully circulating? Also, like, so these are just like the tedious things. Okay. I kind of have, I'm pretty much sold on it. Just need to see, maybe estimate a good price to earnings on this and then look into the tokenomics, right? Is it fully circulating? Yeah.
Real quick, I'm gonna look at the Kraken chart. I got it pulled up on my
Maybe I go to
on my
CoinMarketCap
trading
here.
view. Jeez, yeah, it's still coming down from a pretty high level there, but it just launched back in January, beginning of the year. But this is how I'm thinking about this token. I mean, you're coming off these lows, and I guess I could just do
because it would be interesting to know if they like raised or like what the valuation obviously started. This is what, weekly candles, so it started at what, 40.
How much to team, how much to early investors, how much fair launched, blah blah blah.
50 cents. I can't tell market cap on trading view, but
it is 72 million market cap according to CMC. Okay, so I'm not sure what the heck it's reading on Deck Screener with 150 million FTV, so about 50% circulating. A little less.
Daddy Duster, I'm biased as well. Daddy Duster says what's trippy for me is basically same market cap as Met. I gotta go Met, LOL, but love y'all and definitely biased. What I love about Met as well is the DLMM aspect. Honestly,
dude, tell
I'm
us
not
about
gonna
that
lie.
experience.
Yeah, so give us a thought on this real quick to summarize DRV, and then DLM.
Met's also looking like a good buy. We'll go over that.
Definitely got to go over that real quick. Just to finish up DRV. I mean, it's breaking out of like a downtrend here on DRV. I want to see what the weekly does when it closes. This is a pretty key level. It hasn't been above this top line here since it launched in since the early days of its launch back in January, late January, early Feb. So interesting level here. Curious to see if it just kind of fades off, retests, and then go. This would be kind of the level that I would watch. Interesting. I'm going to just try to see what the fib says real quick. And won't you know, that's a 0.786 entry right there. So if we get it's broken out. If we get a retest of the breakout, it's at a perfect 0.786 entry. And that would literally put us, right where we want to be as far as entries are concerned. So that would be my first level.
Your first level is all the way at the bottom there.
Yeah, I mean, look, my opinion on Bitcoin as well is that over the next few weeks. Oh crap, there's a whole ton of lines here on this chart. Let me erase that for you guys. I'm still looking for us to revisit 60K, right? As quick as these things go up, they can go down as well. So as you can see, we're already kind of pushing up into this green circle that I drew out. We could potentially have a little bit more upside, but I'm still thinking that we grab at all of this liquidity here below. And we're on the daily. If you look at this, that's literally this is the point of control here, 57K. So we could wick into this area. And we still have to liquidate some late shorts here. Here at the 75K level. So we could quickly wick into here and reverse down low, and then and then we go back, and that's the double bottom. That's the real, all right, it's time. Momentum has shifted. There's a shift on the timeline. So if that plays out for me, then of course DRV is like, if that plays out for me, then DRV is kind of poised to come back down a little bit here. Like I wouldn't be surprised, So, but I'm just saying that's my first level. Not saying that's my only one. My first level would be here. And I've noticed that, these major pivot points on these charts coincide with the last sell candle. So that's what I'm like looking to kind of anchor my thesis on. A lot of these pumps get retraced. So we'll see. That's the first. But the second would just be a normal pullback to the 0.786. I mean, there's a little bit of
bro.
I mean,
nah. So the bottom one would be your second one. The top one would be your first one.
Yes. The bottom is just the first that I would love, but yes, yeah. Top is DCA 1, DCA 2, and maybe I just write that in here. Maybe I just write that in. Let's see. Boom. DCA. DCA 1, boom, and then DCA 2 would be the other one. All right, so yeah, so we'll leave that. That's typically what I like to target, as you guys know, is 618.786, especially when there's not a lot of context. There's not a lot of like support levels I can draw out outside of the ones that you already see on this screen. So that's my opinion on this one on DRV, but fundamentally looks really good.
So what's up with Met, bro? You've been learning how to LP?
All right, let's talk about this chart on Met. You know, obviously it's not the greatest based on airdrop farmers, bad market, etc. But let me show you guys what I've been learning on DLMM, and I actually want to show you guys the what the dog doing chart. Very, very bullish on this chart.
What the dog doing?
What the dog doing?
This is the real one, though, right?
Yes. This is the actual what the dog doing chart. If you guys don't know, basically, what the dog doing is a Chinese meme. It started on Chinese TikTok and kind of became super popular. Posts on Twitter were going to like millions in views in just about 24 hours, and it kind of birthed this narrative around this meme coin with a dog with a shield and a sword. And when you say what the dog doing in English, you're actually saying sword and shield in Chinese and Mandarin. So that's a part of the joke as well. So that's the background with the meme. Now, DLMM, how does it work? Simply put, you're DCAing in and you're DCAing out. That's like to really conceptualize all of it. It is a little bit kind of a different way of looking at markets, because essentially what I would do on a DLMM is you have like these wide ranges that you DCA. Let me just I can delete all this real quick. So you have this wide range that you would DCA, right? So typically what we would do is we would see the discovery candle, right? We would see this discovery candle here, and we would wait for the drawdown to enter. With DLMM, what you do is you see the discovery candle, and because you're DCAing in, what you're doing is you're setting bids here, 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 like going all the way down. So you use the discovery candles to set bids all the way down, right? And you'll start and maybe up here, you're I'm gonna write low. Here. These are your low DCAs, right? You start small and you start scaling into your DCA. Now, as you get higher within the retracement, you go high, and I'll just put high there. And so you go higher in your DCA, right? So instead of waiting for us to get all the way down to these levels to start entering in a position, you actually start all the way at the top. Now you might ask yourself, okay, why am I buying the top of a token? I thought we don't do that. Well, as a DLMMer, you are actually earning trading fees on your capital. So when you DLMM, you're not taking you're providing liquidity. So you're not taking it and putting it in your wallet. Your liquidity is actually sitting on the chart. And so you're earning fees based on all of these positions here. So as price scales down, right, scales down and does this, it's hitting all of these low DCA points and going into your high DCA points, right? And then as price trends back up, it hits all of these levels, and you essentially sell out of your position. So let me erase all of that to say you have a range that you DCA. As you go down, you DCA into your position, which means you're providing liquidity to your position. And you can do that in multiple ways. You can do that one-sided. You can do it with Sol. You can, provide liquidity in different ways. And there's a lot of things that I'm still learning, but this is just the basics of it and how I'm kind of seeing this can fit into my trading style. So you DLMM on the way down. Yeah.
And so concept here also is if you do go down and you suffer what's called impermanent loss, right? Chart going down, you don't make that back. it kind of makes up for it because of the fees that are generated within your range from you selling out, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, and providing liquidity on either side of the trade, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the good thing is the fees that you earn DLMMing offset any impermanent loss. And a lot of times the fees that you earn, not a lot of times, but typically the fees that you earn are in the token that you're seeing on the chart. So let's just say, for example, right, I actually saw this chart and I wanted to DCA starting at 3 mil. So what I would have done is set a DLMM range, and you literally would sell and Crypto Jones, I'm going to answer your question by saying this. So here's the answer to what if it doesn't hit your low. So you typically set a range for down 80%. At least that's the norm. I wouldn't, we can kind of chart out levels. So if I say, hey, look, here's the low, I want to set this as my range right here, and this will be the position that I'll DCA in. And so as I set bids here, and you can set standard bids to be the same, or you can set a small bid to scale in, and as the price goes deeper, you DCA in more. Whatever levels don't get hit, you just don't get the DCA, right? So maybe you earn less fees. Maybe you don't, all of your soul isn't in. So you DCA. Now, here's the part about DLMMing that I'm still kind of like trying to figure out, but I think I got it. As price trends back up, right? So like, let's say it's all your DCAs hit as price goes here, all your DCAs hit, you're earning all your LP fees. Now, as price goes back up, bang, it hits the top of this range. All of your positions are now closed. So with DLMM, you're not buying low and selling high. It's kind of crazy because you're actually scaling in your bids from what could be a high, scaling them into the low. And then when you get to the top of your range, these are the bids here, these get sold on the way up. They get DCA'd in on the way down, and then on the way up, your tokens get sold out. So as you get to the top part of your range here, by the time it hits that, you're done. And as price is in discovery, you kind of are only left with the tokens that you got in fees. So that's the part of DCAing. That's the part of DLMMing. I'm actually going to switch around.
So at this point, you're free riding. So right, so you load up on the way down, you exit on the way up, you earn all the fees, and then you're left with you're out for whatever you put in. Now you just have additionally the fees earned that are trading. So it's like free riding. You can also make the range higher, right? Like, so I could exit at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 mil, as well as hold the fees, right? It's not, I don't have to exit in that range, right?
That's the thing. Like, once you hit all of your DCAs, you'd literally have to reset everything. And you'd have to say, like, all right, like, I don't want to get out when I get to the top of that range. Maybe I want to start my scaling out at all-time high. That's the part for me, because what you notice with DLMMers, they might not be the best traders, but they're good LPers. But that's why I say, like, if you're already a profitable on-chain trader, you can literally use this to maximize your gains, because we know we have good asset selection and we know what we can hold. So if I'm in this, I'm bullish on what the dog is doing. I set my range here, right? I DCA in, and all of my DCAs get hit on the way down. Now, what I have to do is take my liquidity out and put it back in, and now set sellout DCAs. So I have to do the opposite, right? So let's say I think what the dog doing is going to go to, let's say I think it's going to go to 20 mil. This is just for example's sake. Let's say we're just going to go to 20 mil. I'm going to set DCAs starting at all-time high, and maybe at all-time high, I start low. I start DCAing a little out at a time, little bit. And then as I get closer to 20 mil, these DCAs get heavier. I mean, these DCA outs, these sell orders get heavier and heavier and heavier until all of my DCAs have now hit. So instead of us losing everything at this line right here, right? Instead of us losing all of our positions there, what will happen now as price trends up, bang, as soon as we start hitting these levels, boom, we earn fees, and typically volume is high, And so as you go to the top and you get to 20 mil, now you've sold out. You've coupled X your initial position. On top of that, you've now earned fees, right? So that's the part of DLMMing that I feel like is the most interesting for an on-chain trader. You DCA in, or we could even potentially manual buy. We can manual buy this down here. We can manual buy this range, DCA ourselves, maybe set some of our own personal limit orders. But for getting out of a position, we use DLMM to get out, because we can now scale out at a price range, right? Instead of a price point, we can sell out at a price range, and on top of that, earn fees while we wait.
So am I understanding this too? Is it even more like an order book here rather than just spot selling? Let's say I spot sell into this chart here. There's no buyer necessarily on the other side. I'm spot selling into a liquidity pool, as opposed to if I have it set up through Meteora and I have these ranges, I'm not actually spot selling on the market. That's someone coming in and buying up my position. Am I understanding that correctly, or?
Correct. Yeah, correct. I think that's exactly the understanding, because your capital is still on the chart. You're not taking any of that out. It's all in liquidity. So someone is coming in, they're buying that position, and as those buys come in, you earn on the fees for those buys. So when you look at the 2025 Meteora report, and you see that, like, they've made, what is it, like $2-3 billion,
1.3 billion.
1.3 billion, but you see, like, 800 million of that goes to LPers. That's what they're talking about. All of those fees that they generate go straight to the community. And that's why these things can juice up your gains, because now I've bought in, like, right now, my average is about 2.5, right? So let's say I've manual buyed in. I am a long-term believer in this. So I'm going to DLMM out, and I'll just sit and I'll just put it on the chart and I'll just wait. And while I wait, as it hits these levels, I'm earning fees. So not only is my principal going up, my initial position, and I'm like, that return, like, that return is crazy. Let's say I 10x my money, right? Or say I 10x my money from here to 20 mil. You can 10x your money and earn fees on top of that, based on the size of your position.
What are some of the gains you're seeing? I've seen like crazy P&L cards where it's like 8,000% gains on these LPs. And obviously these LPs raked in about $1 billion last year, based on the Meteora report. Like how much are these guys making based on what you're saying?
So I had a recording done with Crime, and he actually he'll be dropping that recording. I was the first one in my quote unquote class, if you will.
No way.
So
nice.
I made the recording. Yeah, dude, they're really locked in, bro. Like, they really did it, and he does really well. So he did a 1 to 100 soul challenge, and he's now at like 193 soul.
Dude,
bro, what?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like, if you did that trading in the trenches, you would be like, everyone would be tracking your shit on FOMO, bro. Everyone would be tracking.
But the thing is, what you guys have to realize is, like, and Crime is incredible, great dude, but like he's not, and he's even told me, like, he's not like the one to, as far as asset selection is concerned, he's not holding these things for very long. He's just DCAing the range in, and as price, like on a coin like this is exactly what he'd do. He'd come in, he'd DCA this range. Honestly, he wouldn't even like do a specific. He'd literally start here, bang, he'd DCA a range, put it like 80% down. He'll start low bids, and like it'll increase as price goes all the way down. And then when price comes right back out at the top of the range, bang, he's out. That's it, right? Like, he's not holding coins to higher market caps. He's just holding to the back of the top of the range, right? So that's where.
What if it happens where it chops and then just grinds down to oblivion? Like, is there like a stop loss?
So there is a stop loss, but here's the beautiful thing about DLMMing, because on the way down, you're still earning fees on those bids. As you DCA in, as long as your liquidity is active on the chart and that chart is being traded and generating some sort of volume, you're earning fees. So even on the downside, your trades are sort of limited depending on where you cut it, because the fees kind of like make up for your loss.
Right.
So even a conviction token that I want to hold forever, it's worth it just to LP in, because even if it, let's say I want to buy in at 10 mil, even if it goes to 5 mil, I'm down 50%. I might have made up 20% of that impermanent loss in fees, when I do end up selling the token. And so like,
yeah.
And these tokens, so this one here is on Pump, but there is a Meteora pool for all these tokens. Like even
yeah.
Even
so that's a beautiful thing about Meteora. So not only can you DLMM, but you can be a liquidity provider. So I can come in and I can hit the dog with doing coin and do dog with doing coin and Sol and provide a liquidity pair. And now I'm earning like hella fees.
And so
that's the part I'm still learning.
This is
like
what we
Distorted
saw
has like
Vitardio,
4 Meteora pools for it. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like you can actually set your fees. You can set up your fees manually on pools. So LPers would come in, they'll set up competitive fees. So that way more volume can be routed through their pool. And now you can pull in more volume. Wow. So that's the part that I'm on our next call with Crime. I'll be learning a little bit more about LPing to kind of spot, because what I really want to do is I want to learn how to spot a good trade, right? That's what I want to do as a trader. Whether I'm looking at a prediction market trade like we did with oil, we spotted a good trade. Like we did with freaking Sol Tomato Coin in December of last year before I left, 20x, right? Like we want to make sure we can spot good trades. In DLMMing, it looks a lot different what that looks like to a normal trader, because it's not like a all the way a buy and sell thing. There's fees that are earned and stuff like that. And even when it comes to LPing, you're holding the token and you're holding Sol. So the token itself can go up in price and you're earning fees on your based on your liquidity pool, but it's not the exact same as DLMMing. You're just providing a liquidity pool. And you can make those fees competitive to make sure volume comes to you. So I'm still learning that part. I think that's also a really interesting kind of angle to play. If you're just bullish on the token and want to hold it for a while, bang, just create a pool if the opportunity is sweet enough, and you can be good to go.
You sold me, dude. You sold me. I was saying, this is what we saw in Vitardio, I think, right? When the first MetaDAO token launched, it had like 10 million in raises or something. For some reason, the market came without liquidity injected. So someone just set up, I think, a Meteora pool and captured so many fees. And I think they had fees that were like pretty astronomical, to be honest. Like, I don't think it was 2%. I think it was above 2%. And because there was no other pools really available, people were kind of forced to trade on that one if they wanted exposure. And I think those guys printed based on what I saw.
So, Crime had sent me this token like sometime like yesterday, or it was actually not yesterday. It was on the 11th at like, no, it was on the, it was yesterday, but it was at like 2 a.m. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. He sent it like all the way like down here. Like we're talking like down this range. So what he did was, like you do on this chart, literally you see the first candle, right? This candle, you DCA down, right? Boom, boom, boom. 80% down. Price just kind of meanders in this area. You're earning hella fees. Hits back the top of the range. You're out. Hella fees. And you got your initial.
So chop is good in these cases for the most part.
Yes. Because that means
it's
volume.
Just a little chop, Dom. Come on. It's just a little chop.
I love it. I love it. Look, I've been sitting and chopping Kled and so many other coins for the last 2 months, bro. I would love to be just earning.
All right, I gotta ask. So these are tokens got on the Pump. They get really popular, and then competing pools are set up on Meteora, and then that's what you're DLMing in. Trades get routed based on best execution or whatever, and so then you're collecting fees on that.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. Dude, what the heck? How come I have not really been doing this?
And literally, that's what I said. I was kicking myself. I'm like, dude, what am I doing
for the last 12 months? Honestly,
I could have been started. So let's think about this for a second. back when bull market was in full play, when coins were going from like 1 mil to 15 mil, if you're a great DLMMer, you're making good on the ranges. But if you're a good trader and you're making like 10x in a day, but then you DLMM for your sell orders and you do it at a higher range, now you're earning hella fees because there's hella volume. There's stupid volume in a bull market. And then on top of that, you're getting those 10x returns. So when you see DLMMers like 8,000%, returns, like that's real. Like they can do that in the right market. In these choppy markets, the returns might be a little different, but overall, like I really think that, this is a really good thing to add, especially on the sell side, right? We here at MCG, you guys know, if you've been watching the show for a while, we got entries, boy. You know what I'm saying? We get these entries, no problem. But it's really the exits that you can really maximize your gains on. You get the 10x or even just a 3x, 5x, whatever. But then you sell out, you get those fees on top. Man, it's cookie. It's butter.
No, this is great. Yeah, I'm happy about this too because I'm a DCA guy. Like I don't one clip into charts. I'm like 17 orders over a month, bro. And so
man, I fat finger my buys at the top. What do you mean?
Come on.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. Guys, if you get any sort of DLM wins, please tag Meteor and say MCG is now DLMers. I'm sold. This is great.
I was literally on the call with him for 2 hours. So what I gave y'all in like 15 minutes was like based on like 2 hours worth of questions and talking back and forth, looking at different charts, going through different scenarios.
What does this apprenticeship look like? So are you going to be like, is it a week long, a month long? How many sessions? Like, what does this look like?
I mean, during our first call, he literally said that I've picked this up quicker than like pretty much anybody that he's kind of got with.
He's so smart.
I mean, hey, look, I'll tap myself on the back for that one. But he was like, no, man, like you actually get it. You're getting creative with it. Like, and he said like, that's the side that's harder for people because again, DLMMers, they typically don't trade. They're not traders. They buy they DCA in, they earn their fees and they get out when they get back to the top of the range at their initial entry point. But for traders that actually can kind of get creative with these strategies, you can start to do some really good stuff. So I'm really leaning into that. I think normally it'll probably take you like a month. But I'll probably do we're already on to like some examples and stuff. I mean, I've been kind of swamped here this week with like IRL and MCG stuff, but next week we'll kind of get back into it and I'll actually like go out and put some trades on and just put a little capital to work, nothing crazy, just put a little something to a chart and see what happens.
Well, some play around with it. Good traders equal great DLMers. There you go.
Yes,
bro. Wait, let's talk about the robot money token. There was like a Juno relationship there. It popped off. It was sitting at these low levels forever. You had all day to enter into this thing. Super easy trade, to be honest, if you were just paying attention.
Man, I bought the wrong freaking token.
Super easy trade if you're not buying honeypots. I should clarify. That's rough.
Yeah, I literally bought a honeypot trying to go into this, but I'm not mad at it. At the end of the day, I think we're still gonna get our entry. Again, Bitcoin is looking really shaky as it makes its way down to 50K. I think we'll get a lot of entries, so I'm just gonna be really patient on this one. In fact, this is the chart here. Again, not really many like levels to watch out for. I like to look out for a cluster of buy and sells and see where that is first. So that's here. And when you look at fibs, you see that it's kind of confluent with like a golden pocket sort of thing. So that's kind of the first area I look at. Let me actually just hit this as a buy zone off the rip.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this though? Like rather than just looking at a chart, what's going on here?
Yeah, so basically what happened here is Juno autonomously launched this token. So Juno autonomously launched this token, and basically this token is a protocol for managing a treasury, autonomously managing an agentic treasury, right? So all these AI agents, they earn revenue, but they're just kind of sitting on the cash that they earn. Look at something like Lobstar. He has 500K in Sol and is doing absolutely nothing with it. So that's kind of where robot money comes in, where this agent can actually put on strategies to generate yield, to trade, and to do these different things to, to generate yield for a treasury. And it's going to do this completely autonomously. What people missed is the token was launched and they thought that Tom, the Juno dev, was the one that launched this and is now working on two things at once, when in reality, it was the Juno dev that launched a token completely autonomously, and because, in fact, Juno is incubating this robot money protocol. So keep that in mind there. So Tom and basically the guy behind this robot money protocol, he's leading a $4 billion venture fund. His name is Lex Sokolin. As you can see, he's the CMO of Consensus and he's ex MetaMask. So that's kind of where a lot of the excitement is coming from. They've already kind of talked a little bit on Twitter, and he's kind of acknowledged the token was in conjunction, was a kind of joint venture with Juno. So Juno holders, at least for the initial stage, will receive 20% of the trading fees. As you can see, this generated about 3.5 million in trading volume over the last 24 hours. So 20% of that is going to go to Juno holders, and Juno is actually going to be using its zero human company, infrastructure and technology to build out this whole thing with robot money. So that's essentially where this is all coming from. But yeah, treasury management protocol for AI agents. That's really all this.
So they're building the protocol. This is not actually a fund that they own that, for example, will somehow be controlled by AI. They're building the protocol for others.
Yes. They're building the protocol for others. They're not. Yeah. It's a service. It's an A to A protocol.
Agent to agent. So so just to clarify, someone said like $4 billion. So this is not them throwing $4 billion into this thing, obviously, right? It's just the protocol. I see. Yeah, what does the Juno chart look like?
Juno chart was actually looking kind of nice. A lot of people were actually, let me do that. Keep a track of robot money.
So how
Juno
much
chart was looking really good. I'm not sure. Whatever 20% of 3.5 mil, that's what it is so far. If we go on the market cap chart, this is where I originally drew it out. So this was when the coin was first launched.
Oh, wow.
Bang, right here. That orange line was when the coin launched and everyone was like budding, like, oh my gosh, it's 2 tokens, what's going on? And then here in the circle, this is where everything got confirmed by both devs. Both devs confirmed that, hey, look, we're in this, we're doing this together. It's a joint venture. It's not 2 tokens, 1 founder. Everything got clarified, 20% to Juno holders, and then bang, the price shot right back up, and went literally right back to where it was. And it did not hit my buy zone exactly, but it did dip. And I really shouldn't have. This is a case where you don't like just solely look at the chart. Literally, it was a million market cap. That should have been good. Like million market cap, you can't really go wrong there. Yeah, you might want something sub $1 mil to maximize the gain, but to be honest, like, not really that crazy. Like this was literally dropped to $1 mil market cap. Even at 1.1, 1.2, I should have just bought there. So missed the entry on that because it was a little higher than my buy zone, but Juno's looking good as far as the setup is concerned, and the 2 tokens aren't PvPing each other.
Our boy Decentralize or Die made this call out, spotted it pretty early. Bid robot money, Dev stack, Consensus, and MetaMask ties. It's just a governance token from what I can tell, but it's also actually a token. None of the please claim your fees, bro, BS, VC backing, market sleeping. None of my wallets are in. Very little social chatter about this at the moment. 750K. And when he says none of my wallets, this is a tracker, like the ones he's tracking. 250K, still early, looking for a 3 to 5x. If this was lazy AI season, if this was last AI season, we'd be looking for at least a 20x before TP. And so this is at 750. So he probably got he's at 2x right now, right? It's at 1.3, 1.4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's about 2x.
Yeah, man, dude, I can't believe I bought the wrong one, bro. I bought a freaking honeypot. That's crazy.
What price did you think you were getting it at?
300K.
When did you realize? Oh my gosh.
This morning.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Was it
morning?
Like full clip?
And by the time I wasn't a full. No, I was nothing crazy. It was more like a DCA 1 type of thing. I didn't like. I'm not buying a lot of stuff. And remember, like we said, we said earlier this week, this is more like a 1/3 of your usual size and survive. Like I've been just doing 1/3 of my size, so it's really just playing around with like a little lunch money at the end of the day. But I thought lunch money could kind of turn into a little something, at 300K. But I guess
you turned a burger into no food for the night, but that's okay. Happens. That's rough though.
It's all good. I can make me a sandwich.
Eat ice.
Type. So, but I really do think that we have a pretty good shot at coming back down in this buy zone. I think the hype from the launch will kind of cool off. Again, these things ebb and flow, so there's never really a reason to buy a top, especially when we're expecting a little bit more downside for stuff like Bitcoin. Smart money always gets an opportunity position as people buy in and sell out. I think. Felix. Let's just quick check in on Felix real quick.
I'm gonna let you run this for a sec.
Yeah, do it. Quick check in on Felix, guys. Back in our buy zone. I just want to do a quick update because Felix actually got picked up by this huge dude on that's like kind of in the serial entrepreneurship business world. How much of my port am I allocating to DLMMing? Not much. I need to be confident. Like right now, even with prediction markets, I don't even have a lot of my stuff in that. Like I don't have a significant percentage of my port in that because I'm not confident with those trades. I'm still experimenting. I'm a big believer that paper, like a lot of people say, oh, like start with paper trading. No, don't start with paper trading. Start with small size. You have to put real money at risk in the market to know what it's like to manage emotions. It's one thing to box, to air box, and then it's another thing to be actually in the ring, right? With a real enemy, with a real fighter in front of you. It's just no different in the market. It's one thing to kind of paper trade and you can kind of like play it loose because you're not really losing anything, but it's another thing to actually play with real capital, put real capital at risk, know what it's like to lose money or make money and know how to manage those emotions, right? DLMMing, not putting a lot to it just yet until I'm really confident in the in identifying like really good setups. So Felix here is in a nice little buy zone. We've had this drawn up for like a long time at this point. Crypto Jones, good take. Ooh, good take, you think? Nice, bro. Appreciate you. I'm actually gonna write that one down so we can clip it up for the make sure the clippers can clip this one up. What are we at? 223. Good take. Crypto Jones says. Yeah. I'll go ahead and clip that up. Let's talk a little bit about Felix. So here's you see the chart there. Now here's the recent kind of development here on Felix. So like I mentioned earlier in the interview, earlier when we had the interview, Felix made like 300K like so far, and this guy, Alex Lieberman, he picked up on Felix, but Alex Lieberman is actually a huge dude, non-crypto, right? Outside of the crypto bubble. He has a 35K monthly listener podcast. He runs a newsletter with 5 million subscribers. He was an entrepreneur with a $75 million exit in 2020. He has an AI business at 10x in 12 months. He has a content marketing company with 1 million ARR. And so he has this like massive audience, right? And as you can see, I posted a tweet that said we breached 500K or 500 mil. 500K in impressions. We're now at like 618K views rather, not impressions, but views, right? So this is a story. This is a guy that he has nothing to do with crypto. He's all about business, entrepreneurship, and AI in the kind of IRL space. And so a guy like this, he has almost 300K followers, several startups, and he's a serial founder. Morning Brew is this is the podcast. So as you can see, almost 600,000 followers here on X. That's the podcast that they did Alex, the interview with Felix. So ton of listeners, ton of like mind share potential, and that's really what I wanted to highlight here is that this I said here, this is how we build mainstream mind share, right? Things kind of go crazy when there's mainstream mind share. And in a bear market, it's very easy to kind of see these opportunities because everything is going down. And while Felix might still be stuck in a buy zone simply because we're being held down by a bear market, right? Like we're still in a buy zone technically. But that's because the bear market has kind of like killed confidence. And so it gives us smart money that aren't controlled by, emotions to kind of position in these trades. And these things might not play out tonight, tomorrow, next week, maybe not even next month. But when sentiment shifts, when confidence returns to the market, these types of plays are typically the first to go crazy, right? Because the story is out there, it's already well known. So I wanted to cover that setup on Felix. I think that's a really important development. We covered the banker development. Shout out us here at MCG. We interviewed Nook earlier this week, and you guys literally got all of the alpha. So if you guys haven't been watching, Nook recently partnered with Claunch on the interview earlier this week. We kind of like after the founders got off, me and the chat were kind of talking a little bit about, okay, who could they potentially be sponsoring? Like, what could this opportunity look like? And we identified Claunch could be that. And we identified that correctly. Claunch came out yesterday with a official partnership with Nook. And I'm actually going to show a quick tweet here because I asked them, I'm like, wait, here's the tweet here. I said, it's official. Nook is part of the core agentic infra pipeline with its partnership with Claunch. Any token can be launched through Nook, and it's done autonomously by agents. In fact, the first token has already launched by an agent that the Nook team created, but that's too low market cap to talk about. But interesting developments here with Nook Plot. They're integrating with Claunch. And again, like we talked about earlier this week, the main takeaway from that interview was the fact that Nook is inside this pipeline, this core infrastructure pipeline for AI agents, especially on base. In fact, I'll read you guys a tweet here that I put out about Nook just recently. If I can find it for you guys, it should be here somewhere. Here it is. Bang. Right. Nook has now strategically placed itself inside the core AI agent infrastructure pipeline. So this is exactly what we learned from the interview on Monday. And we got it all correct. On top, you have Claunch that gives you access to all the crypto primitives. So cross-chain swaps, DeFi, yield generation, liquidity provision, the whole nine. Below that, you have Banker, which gives agents resources to operate. So cheap compute, payment through a wallet that Banker provides, Banker skills, and an LLM gateway to access your LLM models such as ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini or Claude or whoever. Underneath that, now you have Nook that allows these agents to coordinate. They can trust each other and they can get more skills. So now these agents can build crypto primitives themselves on ETH mainnet, on Base, and they have access to a community pool of knowledge. So they can all kind of contribute to this knowledge graph and get paid for it as well. And there's a lot of deeper things that we went into, but the main thing here, as you can see in the top right corner, is the metrics. I mean, this started at 145 agents when I first covered it, maybe a week ago, and not even, maybe like 5 days ago or something. Projects was at 45, right? Like when I first covered it. Votes were at like 2.3K. Posts were much lower. So all these numbers are going absolutely insane on Nook, and it looks really really good. But it's kind of, this thesis has been solidified with them partnering with Claunch, as we can see here. And I even asked Claunch, like, because I think Claunch replied to one of my tweets, actually, because I was in the comments of one of these, and I asked, I'm like, okay, agents can now autonomously launch tokens on chain with not like on Twitter, not on Twitter saying BankerBot launch a token, like on chain actually launching. And I asked, I'm like, okay, like, does that mean that it's going to use Banker's infrastructure to launch these tokens? And Claunch, the Twitter Claunch page, actually replied to me, and they said, yeah. See right here. They said it right here. It's loading. Yeah. Does this leverage Banker infra at all? And it says, yes, we are powered by Banker. So again, agentic creation, revenue generation, all of that flows through this infrastructure pipeline, starting with Claunch, going down to Banker, and going down to Nook. And I think it's going to be really, really important. This infrastructure will get really important as AI agents continue to get created.
Dude, is my screen freezing for you on your end, or because I have the stream pulled up over here? Dang, bro, I don't know why that's doing that. On mine, I'm looking fine, but it's been like frozen forever on the stream perspective. Dude,
that's why I kind of kept going. Like, you just started you just started moving again. I'm like, all right, the boy's back. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know, so I just kind of kept riffing on.
Dude.
But I think it's StreamYard though. I think it's StreamYard. I don't think it's you.
I think so too, because like Wi-Fi is spotty, but this has been happening every single stream. I think. I don't know, dude. Whatever. Got to figure it out.
All good. We're moving to OBS. So we got a lot. We got a lot coming.
Yeah, unless StreamYard's gonna come in here and engineer for us, bro, and drop us a bag. Shit's ass, boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see this? Did you see this transaction? Some dude lost 50 million.
Crazy. Yeah, dude. But isn't it crazy that stuff is still happening though? Like, aren't we at a UI or UX like place where these things can be prevented? I mean, people can easily say, "Oh, well, he should have did his research or whatever." But it's like, I mean, the UI shouldn't.
UI shouldn't allow this. But I do agree with this take from Vadim here, where it's like, dude, this guy didn't accidentally swap $50 million into a pool with no liquidity, and like he was laundering money is basically what this guy's saying, right? And I kind of agree. Nobody accidentally swaps 50 million into a pool with 36K of liquidity. Fresh wallet 50.4 million from Binance, zero slippage protection, routed through the jankiest sushi swap path possible. And then a MEVBot just happens to flash borrow $29 million from Morpho in the same block and pocket 9.9 million. OX not going to make it. Called this exact play a year ago. Construct a deliberately terrible swap. Let a friendly bot extract the value. Dirty money comes out the other side as legit MEV profit. 154K per AVE isn't fat fingering. It's a laundering fee.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, look, we all know, and during the meme coin craze, there was memes with like 150K market cap, but they had like 10 mil volume, right? People were like pumping money in and out of these memes. And I think it was a form of like wash trading, money laundering, like where, you would pump, you would pump a dirty wallet into a chart, but then you'd like kind of buy on some side wallets. And so you'd pump the chart up with some money and then pull out on the other end. So now it's coming out clean as meme coin profits. And it's no different here, right? Like, I think that, I mean, dude, it's a free market. These things can be done and they will be exploited. Like, it's not far-fetched.
Crime is legal, bro. Hey, look, it's easier than going to the casino and washing a whole bunch of money, bro.
Shout out my dog, Shaw. Shout out
Crime is legal, bro. Dude, the timing in law was, if you guys didn't see Berwick Law, who historically is an awful law firm in terms of like
Really?
prosecuting
They're
crypto.
awful?
Terrible. They haven't won a single case, bro. They haven't won a single case.
No way.
Oh yeah. So
I
it's like
always see their
ongoing...
ads. I'm like, wow, like, okay, someone's actually like standing up for the crypto guys. Like, we're actually bringing accountability back. But now they're like still losing cases.
They suck. They don't win cases at all, dude. Allegedly, right? I don't want them to come in with a defamation case. It'd be the first case they won. I'm not defaming them. They just suck. No, but it was funny. After they made a tweet yesterday. So we had Shaw on like the 11th. They made a tweet on the 12th, or maybe it was yesterday, dude. Time flies. The 13th, talking about if you lost money in AI16Z, it went from 2 billion to practically nothing. You guys come to us and we're suing the shit out of them, basically. Shaw retweeted, Eliza like quote tweeted, they memed it. But the exact day before this, Shaw's on our podcast saying, or on our live show, whatever, saying, dude, crime's legal. No one's coming for you. No one's prosecuting this. The timing was so great. Though he obviously isn't worried at all. And he shouldn't be.
I mean, he's not lying, bro. Like, I mean, look at the president and his family. You know what I'm saying? They've pocketed a ton.
They might be criming it again today.
Low key. Probably.
Barron.
Probably.
Barron's a button smasher, bro. He'd be pushing the button for sure.
Nah, man. Game is game, man. Game is game.
Game is game, bro. So if you were in their position, you'd be sneaking in the bundle.
Nah, man. I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm the type of person that like I need to be able to sleep at night. Like, I want to make my money like the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even told me and Dom me and Dom, we were actually like having this conversation. Like, I think this is probably like a month or two ago, where I was like, not even, probably like a couple months ago. I was like, yo, Dom, like, I want to be a real trader. Like, I don't want to be like a KOL. And I mean, look, shout out the Axiom badges, like them. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be just like,
without the Axiom badges, there would be no good trader. So you have to have the dog shit traders to have good traders. So it's, shout out to the Axiom badges.
My overall goal, like when it comes to trading, is not even to be the best in the game. It's just to be self-sustainable. I want to be able to come in, look at this crypto market and be like, all right, I know where I need to go to make money, period. I know what to do. I know how to do it. I know where to trade. I know how to trade. I know what assets to buy, when to sell. Like, I know how to operate. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like, dude, like, these guys that are like scamming and stuff, bro, they're going to get what's coming to them. Like, and I really believe that that's dirty money, and I don't want nothing to do with dirty money, bro.
Let's go. Money talks. Money talks.
It's crazy
cash,
though.
I want it. Dirty cash, I need it. Oh, that's how that song goes, right?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
No, nonetheless, bro. I don't know a thing about that.
Nah, yeah, like dirty money. Like it comes with some crazy stuff attached to it, and it's crazy because this industry it incentivizes people to be scammers and grifters, and it incentivizes people to take shortcuts. But like, I think at some day that edge will get erased, whether it's through privacy or it's through regulation or a combination of both. And I think we're already seeing that now, where like there's not a lot of like liquidity to extract anymore. Traders are like getting rinsed. Even the ones that are trying to bundle, they're only making like little. They're only making a little bit of money. Even hackers, the bonk hackers only made 20K. Right, like the grifting is the grifting opportunity is
bro.
Yeah, that was funny. It's like the opportunity is closing. So like when that edge is gone and like no one can copy trade farm anymore because we're all private on chain. Like when no one is following your scam wallets into anything anymore. Like, how are you going to provide for yourself? Like, what skill are you going to come out on the other end with? You know what I mean? Like, I want to be solid, man. I just want to be a good trader. That's all. Bro, that's all I'm focused on.
This is the state of the trenches right here, boys. Okay, State of the Union. This is the state of the trenches. So this is how it feels. This is from Goyam PNL.
Goyam is crazy.
Goyam PML. Whatever. Well, let's see. This Goyam right here is making some money. So this is how it feels to bundle 10 wallets at 3K and have 100 plus SOL P&L at 100K. I conducted a little research over the weekend, and today I decided to experiment and put it to the test. The key to winning isn't about bundling anything you see. You have to pick the right coin to bundle. If the coin is good and nobody knows about it yet, take advantage and front run everybody else. I see why you motherfuckers don't do this. It is quite literally free money. If you know what you're doing, I sold respectfully in a manner that didn't hurt the chart one bit. If you ever come across a situation, learn to take 5 to 10% clips. Be respectful to the chart. That way you make much more SOL out of it. But first bundle experiment was a success, nevertheless. And you can look right here. Invested 13.3 SOL. It's crazy that you can bundle with that small amount of like 13.3 SOL is not a lot. 13.3 SOL invested, 75 sold, 45 remaining. Total P&L 107 P&L SOL, 1,273%. And so what he did here, I guess, was found a meme, whatever, created fake buying pressure, buy, sell, create a bit of a chart. All on the end, he's got 10 wallets holding most of the supply, and he was able to capture a lot of the upside. So, hey, game is game.
I think there's a way to operate in all parts of the market. So like maybe there's a way to play these sub 10K crappers, and maybe that's by bundling and whatnot. But like, I like to make my money clean, man. I like to make my money clean. That's just not the way, dog. That's it. I mean, maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe it's a glitch in the system. Maybe you want to take advantage of it. Sure, like whatever, do you? But that's crazy. Like
I mean, you're your own at 3K market cap. You're your own market maker, right? You take $500, you can push the chart up, you can push the chart down, start making a nice organic little price. Maybe do one fat buy to get the chart going. Everyone's like, "Oh, this thing's going. What's going on?" They're piling in. All of a sudden, you've completely on your own market made a chart to 100K because it's 100K, and you've taken out 100 SOL in profit. That's insane, bro.
Talk about extraction. Holy moly. Imagine taking 100 SOL out of a 100K market cap chart. That's crazy.
I guess the takeaway here is if you guys want to do this, go ahead and use Trojan. Bottom left corner, you got the QR code. Supports us. Bundle every single 3K shitter. It supports the show. On that note, boys.
Jesus.
But seriously, shout out Trojan, man. Great terminal, best cash back in the game, really great referral system. At the end of the day, it comes down to traders wanting to keep and make the most money, and that's what Trojan does. It's not FOMO. You're not gonna, pull your emotions into it and make terrible trades because of it. So trade what's gonna give you the best opportunity to keep and make the most money, and that's Trojan. Bottom left corner, use the QR code, supports the show. Shout out Meteor as well, keeping this show going. Shout out to Orgo and everyone else that just helps us so much, and the chat. So we love you guys. Chill, do you want to wrap with anything? Or are we good to just wave the flag?
No, we're good. Boys, enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to DCA into your real life, your real experiences, and your real family and people that you care about. Love you guys. See y'all next week.